night to everyone. And he's Paul, and I'm Headley. And welcome everyone to the show again tonight. Um, we have another interesting show. And Sean, good night, my brother.
Good night, man. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How's it going in Barbados?
Island life.
Are you alive?
Island life.
Before we get the show started, I wanted to say that I was rooting for you last week in the Coolmore. Actually, was that the biggest race for the year in Barbados, or that's just one of them?
I think it might be the biggest risk for the imported horses. Um, I think the biggest thing about that day is because that day is usually Cox. I'm not Cox, right? I call it Cox, but Sandalin Gold Cup Day, and
Right.
it was just the day itself, which was supposed to be, which it wasn't, and the Kumoro was the next best thing. So
Well,
yeah,
I say you were very close, and I was rooting for you. I actually tuned in and I watched the that day race day on YouTube, and I got I guess I could be a little critical. I please don't hate me for this, people in Barbados, but the sh- the racing was good, but sometimes I get turned off by like people, like the guy who's calling, like talking on the mic and all that stuff. I know all you guys know each other and everything. Everybody in Barbados know each other, by the way. But like, do people really need to keep hear orders barking at them? Please wear your mask. If you're gonna take a sip and then put your mask right back on. Like, to me, honestly, that feel a little bit degrading. Like, you have to tell people that all the time. I'm not saying people don't do it, but you don't have to keep telling them all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we are people, human beings, right? I don't know.
well,
I just feel like if it was kind of a little bit overkill, that's all.
I think you left Barbados a little too long, man. That's how it is down there.
But people
It's
don't
it's
have to keep telling people to do it. Like,
a
the rules are
control
rules.
thing. People
You
ought to
know?
feel they got to be in control and if you
Exactly.
do the wrong, it just no, it's just not right. It's just they don't handle that part of the business right. They always have to have some sort of control. They always gotta, I mean. But yet at cricket, you see everybody with not a mask on, and
Hmm.
the whole thing is all wrong. You know what I mean? All wrong. Everywhere else you see in Barbados, all these things. A million people up there, all of them no mask and all of them having a good time. Cricket, same thing. All the English tourists are up front and center. Nobody's telling them anything. But for some reason, the garrison has to be this control freak where they got to tell you every second to put a mask on, or got a bunch of people on the outside of the fence can't come in. It just, I've been complaining about it for a long time. I've seen other people now jumping on the bandwagon. But, it's heartbreaking to see
And
thousands
reason,
of Barbadians on the outside by the CXC buildings every week, weekly. You know what I mean? And when you look inside, there's a bunch of tourists in there. So
the reason why I
hopefully
say
they.
that
Hmm?
The reason why I brought that up, because I was watching. I'm not there, so I'm not being part of it. But I was watching the whole thing, and I really was trying to enjoy it, like make it into something. Right, I'm
Hmm.
there, on my couch watching it, having a drink or whatever, some food, and just to keep hearing people bark instructions to people who's paying their money, probably to be in the stands, probably to buy food, probably to buy some drinks or whatever, and just keep telling them that over and over and over. It just felt a little bit too much for me, you know what I mean? And I was like, if I was there sitting, how would I feel? You know what I mean? But I don't know.
It's just funny hearing you say that because I mean I didn't hear I don't really listen to the commentary that kind of stuff that how you would have, but you're on the outside looking in, so I think
Right.
even it comes better hearing it from you than from me because I'm just sometimes a loud mouth here keeping noise, but I didn't have any conversation with you about that, so I was kind of shocked to hear you say that just now, but
Well, yeah. I didn't want to discuss it before we started talking, so that
Yeah.
you can be just give me the rawness of how you felt, or
Well, you,
whatever, or
I hope I wasn't too raw.
well, well, I hope it doesn't affect you because you got to deal with people, of your peers and
And
at the track and all that stuff, right?
I complain all the time, so they're custom hear me complain about stuff.
All right.
So
So
I
everyone
take
knows
it
we
easy.
got Darwin Clarke, and we're gonna bring him on the show in a few seconds. But before we do that, let's just relive the race from last week, and then
Oh, they are.
we'll get going. All right.
Without any trouble. So they're all in. Racing for the 2022 edition of the Coolmore. And Celestial Storm popped away smartly, but Jocular comes right through and picks it up. So with a mile to go, it is Jocular who's the leader from Celestial Storm. Bodhi Top is up on the outside between horses is Good Vibration. People's Champ is next and Queen of Pitons. Inspired Adventure is next one through, and the last one of the 8 is Rising Star. As they come down the stretch the first time, just over a circuit to go. And it's Jocular, yellow with blue sleeves, who leads from Bodhi Top on the outside. On the inside, that great is Celestial Storm towards the outside, Good Vibration. Then People's Champ tracking Celestial Storm along the rails. A break of a length and a half to Queen of Pitons, Inspired Adventure, and Rising Star sees them all. The pace is pedestrian, 27 and 2, 50 and 2 for the half. It is Jocular in front by 3 parts of a length from Bodhi Top. Celestial Storm cantering along in third. Good Vibration is next. Then People's Champ on the outside. Queen of Pitons going up. Inspired Adventure yet to produce a run. And yet to find his good best ride is Rising Star. As they go over the hill, they go back towards their departure point. 3 furlongs to run. And the leader is Jocular and Bodhi Top, who comes now and puts his hand in front of Jocular. Celestial Storm is third. Then comes Queen of Pitons. The Inspired Adventures found this best right. People's Champ has to do a lot more. Inside the quarter pole, there comes 6 and 1, 15 and 4. And as they turn for home, it is Bodhi Top who takes to the lead. On the inside, Jocular, Celestial Storm between horses, wide on the outside. Here's Queen of Pitons. It's Bodhi Top on the right hand drive on the outside. Queen of Pitons, Jocular with a renewed effort. There's Queen of Pitons who's going on. Queen of Pitons from Bodhi Top, Jocular on the inside. The Inspired Adventure, Rattle Hole, then Celestial Storm. People's Champ, Good Vibration, Rising Star trailed the whole way. The winner came home in 153 flat. What a horse race. In a moment, we'll be back with a recap for you.
That must have brought back some very exciting times for you and
Yes,
some nervous
yes, it did.
moments.
I didn't expect that from you. You shocked me here.
Well, we're full of shocks.
Yes, yes. Thanks a lot for that, man. But she's a nice filly. Second time she's running, and we expect her to improve from that. You know what I mean? Now she got a 9 furlong racing her. She's ready to roll now.
Yeah, the horse actually looks pretty good from what I've seen from their race. The horse actually made a comeback. So I guess you guys, the whole stable, everyone should feel really, really
Yeah,
proud and
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
excited.
You did something well.
All
I mean, just got beat.
right. That being said, tonight's show is all about my man, your man, Darwin Clarke. So let's not prolong it no longer. Let's bring him on stage and welcome to the show, Darwin.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad to be
Darren,
here.
how are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Sean?
I'm great.
Good, good, good.
A couple of times while I was in the green room, I lost connection. So if I lose connection again, I would plug in. Right now, I'm on Wi-Fi, but I'll plug it into the host directly.
Okay,
Okay.
no problem.
So if I drop off, I am not abandoning ship.
Understood, understood. So,
All right, all right.
because I'm the newbie, I don't really, I'm not too familiar with you. Let's start from way back. Um, when was it? When did you started getting involved in horse racing?
I think I started. I was about 10 years old. My granddad worked on a sugar plantation, and they had a couple of polo ponies. So I would go down to the polo fields, hang out with my granddad, watch polo, walk the horses after the chuckers were over. And that's how I got involved in horses. Just I just love horses, wanted to be near them, and it was just the next step, just to go down with my granddad and hang out with the horses.
Wow.
Good.
And who was your granddad?
He looks a little bright.
Yeah, I was
His name
actually
was
going to type you.
Christopher Moore. Yeah, that's a
Yes,
bright
thank you,
light.
thank you, thank you,
His
thank
name
you.
is Chris.
I was going,
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, that was really bright.
but this is a lot better now.
Anyway, his name is
Go ahead.
yeah. I said his name is Christopher Moore. He wasn't the overseer at Hanson Plantation, but he was the loader driver. He would load the sugar canes onto the carts and trailers. And, then they would haul them to the factory to get refined, make sugar, syrup, whatever the byproducts of the sugar cane was. But yeah, he's the one that got me into the horse racing. Not horse racing, but horses in general. Then
Oh wow.
I started working. Sorry,
Go ahead.
I'll keep going. Yes, so I started working for my cousin, and he worked for what would be Richard Dean's uncle at the sugar plantation. They had about 7 or 8 polo ponies, so I would muck out those 7 or 8 stalls. I would bathe them, groom them, and then if the boss's daughters were going riding, I was saddling up for the boss's daughter, and they'll go out riding. So my reward was to ride those horses if the Keith Dean was his name, if his daughters weren't riding the horses on that particular day. So I actually got totally fed up one day, and I was sitting on a cane cart in the middle of, well, I need to backtrack a little bit. I had met Richard Dean. I think we used to haul horses for Richard and his mom to show jumping events and stuff like that. So I had met Richard previously, but on this particular day, I was fed up with my situation, with not getting paid what I was doing with the 7 horses with my cousin. So I was sitting out there on the trailer, and he came by with riders, and he said, "Hey, Biaf, what's going on?" I said, "Man, I'm tired of this, man. I was just tired of working for free, doing all this." He said, "Well, I'm hiring for the summer. Why don't you come up, talk to me?" And it was a very long walk. I remember that, if I lived to Edmonton. But I got there and he said he'll hire me half days for $35 a week. And that was a lot of money. That was a lot of money. I was probably 13 or 14. I was like, oh my God, I can do this. So started working for Richard. And, they had a really nice show back in the day in 1980 called Horsecapade. And that was going on at the time. Really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the pageantry. There was horses jumping through fire, dressage, kind of like the Spanish riding school. It was really, really, really good. And so that took me to a whole different level of riding, And I learned a lot while I was there over that summer. And then that parlayed into me going back to school and working there after school hours. And then I became such a good rider. I started teaching about riding when I was about 14 years old. I was probably 14. I was teaching riding. And, over that course of time, I obviously met Sean. Sean was a jockey then. And Richard had, I think, a couple of horses. And Sean actually won his first race as a jockey for Richard Dean. Yeah, a horse called Battle Axe. I remember exactly where I was when that horse won because I was, what do I call the black stand? You know, I don't know if I can use the N word, but that's what I used to call it. I was just on the outside.
I think you
I was
just
on
said
the
it.
outside because I have but you know, and it's for neighbor too. So, but at any rate,
Nice guys, nice guys.
yeah. Anyway, so I was standing there, and I remember that, and I remember Sean was looking over, see a phone, you know. So that stuck with me forever, and somehow along the line, I decided I wanted to be a jockey, and started that process. Got my exercise license, my jockey license, and then started riding. But I'm
Wow.
trying to think.
But
So go
I
ahead,
know
Darwin.
there's is there it's probably like a slight delay because you're probably on the west coast
I
or
am.
and
I
by
am.
the way, Darwin, I gotta tell you, and I was telling Sean, you're like a ghost, man. I can't find nothing on you online. You know, not like what is going on with you? I'm trying to do some research. I can't. I'm like, who is this guy? Where is he?
Yeah.
I can't find nothing.
I'm a very private person. I'm a very private person. My circle is pretty small. I kind of keep the same friends. You know, Sean would know. It's just a couple of people I know, and even here out west by myself, it's my wife and I, and I have maybe 5 acquaintances, you know, slash friends. But yeah, my circle is small. So I most of my friends, acquaintances are usually business people or you know to do with my work. It's never like a big you know a big party at my house. Put it that way.
And
I
that's
keep
all
it
right.
tight.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But
You know what?
But anyway,
Go ahead. Go ahead,
You
Darren.
know, I was saying, well, you know what? You know, for a guy like me who doesn't know a whole lot about Darwin, I had to start doing some research and to figure out who is Darwin, you know, and so forth. And I had to go all the way back to this.
And the moment these D-class horses don't run, just getting up on his hind legs, they're off and running. They're off and running a pretty level break. Slowest out, of course, is Freshwater, but we know he's always at the back of the field. But as they come racing with 7 furlongs to go, don't want to set off in front, trying to make it all. Son of a Dove on the outside in second position. Tucking in is Sugar and Spice. Then comes OK Joe and Freshwater not too far off the leaders. Around the paddock bend, and it's Don Juan in front. Sugar and Spice slipping up on the inside. Then there's Son of a Dove on the outside. A length or so back to OK Joe and 2 lengths back to Freshwater. And the gallop beginning to quicken up a little bit as they go towards the 5 furlong pole. Is still Don Juan in front. He's half a length ahead of Sugar and Spice. Cruising up on the outside is Son of a Dove. Then OK Joe tucked in. 4 lengths back to Freshwater, who is now beginning to run on. 4 furlongs to go. There's a dispute up front between Sugar and Spice on the inside, Don Juan on the outside, and then Son of a Dove, who's locking those two. OK Joe is there with a chance as well. With Freshwater completely out of it now, and he's falling to about 8 lengths back. As they come back towards the drill hall, it is Sugar and Spice who slips into the lead. Don Juan under pressure towards the outside. OK Joe, Son of a Dove is beaten, and Freshwater nowhere near. As they come to the 2 furlong pole, the quarter mile around, and Sugar and Spice slips into the lead. She's gone clear by a length and a half. OK Joe running on strongly in second position. Don Juan coming again on the outside. Son of a Dove is beaten as they come towards the corner. Sugar and Spice. OK Joe between horses towards the outside. Don Juan with a desperate run. Darwin Clarke trying to run on the mic, and he's come to take out once again. It is Don Juan striking the front again. Sugar and Spice running on the inside, but she's going on at one pace. Don Juan hands and heels. Darwin Clarke is going to run it quite comfortably. Runs it now with Don Juan half a length back to Sugar and Spice. Freshwater charging up on the inside to be third. Son of a Dove fourth, and the last one not too far. OK Joe, and the moment we'll have a result for you.
And the winner coming back in now, being led in by Mr. and Mrs. Charles Othniel Williams.
The light is flashing, and the moment they should be off and running. There they go. They're off and running for the 1987 United Barbados Derby. And the field of 15 horses, and they're going a mighty cracking pace in the early stages as Lady Helen picks it up. She is the early leader towards the outside. Don Juan is there. Tucked in on the inside is Kimag. Sugar and Spice showing with the jockey standing tall in the saddle. Towards the outside, El Caballo going up also. Tucked in on the inside. That's just cool runnings. As they come down the home stretch for the first time and sort out themselves, is Lady Helen in the lead. Running second on the outside is Don Juan. Sugar and Spice going comfortably in third. Cool runnings tucked in on the inside. So too Kamag. Hometown Queen up. El Caballo simply pulling the jockey right up. Happy Wanderer cantering on the inside. Also there with a chance. It is Uncle Lee on the inside. And the back mark at this stage is locals only, with 2 trials just ahead of her. Up the back stretch they go. 5 furlongs to go, and it's Lady Helen being pushed along. Don Juan with the jockey standing tall in the saddle on the outside. Creeping up on the inside is Cool Running. On the outside, Sugar and Spice. Hometown Queen going up. Happy Wanderer going up also. El Caballo wide on the outside, and the back marker at this stage is locals only. Just about 3.5 furlongs left in the Barbados United Derby 1987. And still out in front and going. It is still Lady Helen being joined on the outside by Don Juan. Sugar and Spice waiting to pounce. Happy Wanderer running a cork in 4th position. Coming with a run from the rear is Don. Is Border Bounty. Towards the outside, Hometown Queen running on also. As they come back towards the drill hall, it is still Don Juan who picks it up now. Don Juan goes on from Sugar and Spice towards the outside. Border Bounty with a run. Also there with a run is Happy Wanderer. Style and Fashion making up ground, but she's a long way off. Also making ground from the rear is 2 Trial. As they come back towards the home turn, it is Don Juan who's gone clear by a length. Sugar and Spice trying desperately. Happy Wanderer coming out to challenge. Border Bounty there with a chance, but it is Don Juan. He's gone clear. He's 3 or 4 lengths clear. He's running on strongly. On the inside, Sugar and Spice running on to be second. Border Bounty coming out to challenge, but Don Juan wins it by 5 lengths from Sugar and Spice. In first spot, 4 lengths back is Border Bounty. Then comes Kamag, Happy Wanderer, the Spirit, Style and Fashion, 2 Trial, and the last one just going fast. That's Cool Running. In a moment, we'll have a result for you. So it's an excellent time by Don Juan, and here he is coming back. And the United girls are there as well. Trainer Bill Marshall just shaking the groom's hand, the groom who looks after Don Juan, and they're going to lead in this horse. Don Juan, the winner of the 1987 United Barbados Derby, being led in by...
Yeah, that
must bring back the memories for you. My question for you, Darwin, is like, have you ever got worried that you would run over somebody on the track? Because like there's people running across the horses, and that ever came to your mind?
I think the only time I experienced that was when I rode PU in the Gold Cup. And I was in front, and, you know, it's Bajans, you know, so you have 6 or 7 people deep on the rail, and everybody's leaning over to see the horses coming their way. And, you know, we're familiar with baseball and football, so you know the wave, it looks like a wave, because all of a sudden all these heads just move back. And the horses pass, you know what I mean? So you're not seeing the rail, you're just seeing a sea of people. And you're hoping that they move when your horse gets there, and they're just lean back and the horses go by. So I think that's the only time I thought that, you know, I was going to cross someone. And I think one day I know Jeffrey Brown was in the race. I want to say Ricky was in the race also. We were galloping out after a race, and a little kid came across the racetrack. Yeah, I think that was the only 2 times I would, you know, I was like, you know, I crossed the one today. But other than that, no, you don't get worried about the people there. I mean, I've turned for home before, you know, coming down the home stretch, and there are people, 3 or 4 people in the stretch rooting for the horses, you know. It's like, but only in Barbados you'll see that.
Yeah.
Now, you know that Sean has a bunch of questions for you, but I got so much questions because like I'm the newbie to you, you're the newbie to me, and I'll let Sean continue because I don't think he's not spoken a word yet for the night, and this is not like Sean.
So I mean, he's my friend, and we know one another very well. So I just give you your thing, but things that
I think he's intimidated.
My boss know, you know. my boss.
I
I gotta
completely
watch my
understand.
words. I gotta watch my language.
You gotta be on your
But what
P's and Q's.
what I would like to ask you, when did you find that your weight started giving you trouble as a jockey?
Oh, Sean, probably from day one. I think when I rode my first horse, I weighed 93 pounds. And I was
Mm-hmm.
lying in. I was living with my grandma at the time. I was lying in her bed, and my hip bones were probably sticking out 3 or 4 inches from my tummy. I was skinny, but I think a year or two in, Sean, I was. I mean, to make the weight for Happy Style in the Derby, I had to go sweating for that. And then everything after that, I was heavy from the get go. I would say maybe 16, 17. I was already having weight
In trouble.
problems. Yep. Oh
Wow.
yeah,
No, because
for
you,
sure.
you,
Well, look at me now.
you're
I
the
mean, come
tallest
on.
jockey. No, you're the tallest jockey I ever rode with. I mean, and I can't remember. I mean, I can't remember how you know what I mean. Like for myself, in 2 years' time, I was just boom. You know what I mean. But I couldn't remember your
Yeah.
progress of getting big. I just remember seeing like a long bean
Yeah.
pole.
Right. I was long and skinny, but we were not that disciplined when we were young. So we would sweat, diet, whatever, ride on Saturdays, party all night, and all that water weight you lost during the week is back on. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a disciplined jockey colony at the time. I mean, there's only one or two that were, they were built to be jockeys. I
Yes,
think in our
yes,
time, probably Ricky, Venice, obviously,
yes.
Consuelo Grant, he was small, but everybody else was kind of a large size. I mean, I look at the kids
Yes.
riding now, I'm like, oh, they're small people. Um, Here at Emerald Downs, I was in the parade ring. Rocco was riding a state race, and I was very good friends with his trainer then. And he came up to the parade ring. And Sean, I told myself there was no way on God's earth I was ever a jockey because he was so tiny and I was so big. And I'm thinking, if this was somebody else's story, I would say, no, you're lying.
Yes.
So for years, when I moved here, I would never tell people I was a rider.
Yes.
And finally, maybe in the last couple of years with Rocco, he told his boss, he's like, Darwin was a rider. And he's like, no, he wasn't a rider. He's like, yeah. So I took him in some pictures and stuff, and he's like, oh, God, yeah. And people I work with, they found out maybe after 15 years that I was a jockey.
Yes.
And some of them hated me for not telling. And would you ever believe me? Would you believe I was a jockey? Well, no, but you were. But thank God for the internet. They can go pull up a couple of races and see me. But I mean, that's who I was. I mean, I watched that with Don Juan, and I was standing tall, and I just disappeared. So I still had the ability to get in behind a horse, which is really hard for a guy my size
Yes.
to get in
Correct.
behind. And I remember I'm not this jockey's name, but I was breezing a horse in Barbados one day, and after I got finished, I was out on a horse, and this jockey came up and he asked me, he says, how do you get that low? He's like, you need to tell me how you get that low. And I just said, just practice. You have to practice, because yeah, but I mean, like, we would bring our stirrups up so short, and you train your body that flat, But you have to do it in the morning. You can't wait until race day to practice that. But that's where I guess I learned to get flat, as people would say, Yeah.
Wow. How tall exactly are you?
I'm 6 feet.
Wow. I was
Yeah.
watching.
6'2", man. You sure not 6'2"?
No, I might have shrunk, but I think my driver's license says 6'2", Sean.
I
My
I
driver's
I
license
look back
says six.
at. I was looking back at the races from back in the days with you, and man, you look really tall. I was saying like you probably didn't even need a leg up. You probably just like step right on top of the horse and you were good to go.
Yeah, I was in Trinidad one year riding a couple of horses, and Stephen Jordan, he told the guy I was riding for, he said, "Your jockey's taller than your horse."
You are
Yeah,
really tall.
I was very tall. I was embarrassingly tall. I mean, like I said, I don't tell people I used to be a jockey.
Wow. Well, I got this one. When it comes to that, to your size and so forth, I got one question for you about that, and it's probably a question that you probably never heard from a guy before. But at what point did you know that you were too big?
I don't think I ever told myself I was too big. I don't think at any point I said I was too big. Too heavy, I would say, because like I said, I rode small horses like Sweet Lady and stuff like that, and she was a tiny little horse.
Mhm.
So I think I just got too heavy. I think 1988, I won the Derby in '87 on Don Juan. I think '88 is when I told myself I was way too heavy. Safi Joseph wanted me to ride a horse in the Derby for him. This is senior, obviously. And he said, "Oh, you sure you're going to make the weight?" And finally I told him, I was like, "Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just done." So, yeah, it just got too heavy. Not, I always had the same frame. I just, bulk up a bit.
But what I
I
would like
guess
to
it.
ask you more is, you were the first apprentice to win a derby with Happy Style. How did that happen, and where, you know, at the time it was a big thing. I mean, what did it do for
Yeah, well,
you?
I think that was my seventh or eighth win overall, Sean.
Hmm.
Definitely not beyond 10. Okay, so I know
Oh,
Eustace Jovis broke her maiden in a sprint race, and I think he had a call on maybe one of Ronald Burke's horses, and she had a problem. She would start getting out on the turns, to try to bolt a little bit,
yeah,
and I want to say I was like the last man standing. I don't think there was another jockey available to ride her.
right.
So it was by default. It wasn't like they're seeking me out to come to ride her. But I think of the guys left, I guess I was the most talented. But the Friday night before the Derby, the pre-Derby little party at the track there, and the late great Bill Marshall said, "If you ride a smart race tomorrow, you'll win your first Derby." And I remember taking the bus to go home. I was thinking that all the time. It's like, okay, I got to ride a smart race tomorrow. And like I said, she would try to get out on the turn. So, my main thing was coming down for the first time. I wanted to be covered up. So I covered it up. And going down the back, I remember I switched out and I threw a jockey down in that
You did
race,
what?
And
You
that
switched
guy,
out,
I threw a
man.
jockey down in that race. I switched out. Hey, Derek, that's an inside joke. So Sean for years told me I throw him down, man. He's like, "Oh, man, you threw me down the Derby. You threw me down." And I said, "Well, Sean, I'm not looking back." So, so it wasn't on purpose, that's for sure. But
No,
we'll move
I
on
never
past
blamed
that
him though. I
since.
never blamed him. I just mentioned it to him, but 'cause what he's saying there just now, the horse did drift out, and when he drifted out, my horse put itself in his spot, but she just came back in, and he didn't know I was there, and I just ate some grass.
But anyway, she was a tough ride, but I
Yeah.
obviously handled her well. I almost got race because going past the 3 furlong pole, Emil ran gone into second. I want to say it was Lady Helen or Dr. Warhorse was in the lead. Emil went in second, and a horse came up in third. I didn't want to go forward at that point, so I sat a
Mhm.
little longer. And then when that horse fell away, then I chased after the two leaders, and like I said, I won by a head, and I had enough horse probably to go 3-4 wide. But it's kind
Mhm.
of like I was like, no, I don't want to go, man. I'll sit and wait for one of these horses fall away. But Chick kept on pretty good down the stretch. So I almost lost that race, trying to overthink it as opposed to switching my horse out and go. but it happens. You overthink as a writer. But yeah, to talk about that race, I mean, I won that race, and like I said, it was definitely not my like it wasn't my 10th race. It was less than 10, and so I decided, okay, you're a jockey, this Barbados Derby, right? And I decided to tell. I was working for Richard at the time, and I said, hey, Richard, I'm going to try to be a professional jockey. I want to be a jockey. I was jockey, shoeing horses, every other thing that he wanted me to do for him. I said, look, I want to be a jockey. I'm going to go to the track and be a jockey. And decided on that. It was a lot of debate and back and forth, and I decided this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. So, Sean, I quit working for Richard. I go to the track every morning, and I did not get a ride for 6 race days. Not a ride. Now I'm a
After winning a
7-pound
derby?
apprentice, just won a derby. Oh yeah, 100%. And I'm not saying I wouldn't say I got blackballed, but I definitely did not. It wasn't a welcoming thing at the time. It's like, what do you think you're doing? You know what I mean? You cannot do this. And I'm thinking, I want to be a professional jockey. So I absolutely almost quit riding. I would say I quit. I quit. I went back to Dash Valley, hanging out with my grandma and stuff. And David St. John, he came looking for me one time. And he said that Roger Patricino had a horse in one of the classics and would like me to ride it. So, yeah, I'll ride it. And I rode that horse. And then I started riding, um, what was the name of that? Fitzgibbons and Darcy Flats and those. I don't want to say black trainers because I don't want to make it a black and white issue. But I start riding for those boys, and I rekindled my career that way. And then somehow magically, I worked my way back into the Bill Marshall barn and some of the bigger barns at the track. But yeah, that was almost a career stopper for me as a trainer, And I was talking to my wife. I said, hey, I'm going to go on this show with Sean. I said, by the time I'm finished with the show, it's going to be the good, the ugly, and the very ugly, because there were a lot of huge influences in my life. Richard Dean was one. I'll tell you a quick story. I was 13, I think, and a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about will come full circle, and it will always have Sean rap in it, and that's why Sean is my guy. You know,
Darwin,
um, I was
before you get
13.
going, I wanna because you're just a slight little bit delayed. I don't want it completely. I know the viewers are very curious about what you're saying, and if you feel free, you could remove yourself from the live and then bounce right back in and see if it helps. Because for me, it's fine,
Okay,
but I know it might be a little bit puzzling for some people who's watching, and that's fine. We'll pop you right back in. That if that would help the live,
all right, I'll leave.
you know what I mean?
Okay,
It'll just pop out and pop back in, and we'll dish you in.
sounds good. All right.
Let's see if it works. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Well, he's the furthest person we ever talked to, eh? He's all the way
I
on the
well, I
East
know. I don't
Coast.
know if it got something to do with that or what, but
He's on the West Coast.
like 4 hours behind us.
Yeah, yeah. So
Maybe that's where the delay is coming from.
yes. Might be too far.
But
But
it's quite
he's
interesting to watch him on top of a horse. And like I'm telling you, the guy is so tall, like he could just like step right off the horse, no problem.
yeah, but it never stopped me from being a good jockey. I mean, there are not many jockeys could say they won 2 derbies, man. And for him to walk away from a short career too, I don't think he would. He didn't write 10 years, and that's a big thing, a big deal.
Well,
But
let me tell you, with young men, and then I guess you start growing. I guess
yes,
reality steps in, right? In basketball, you call it talent when you can get so big, but in horse racing, I guess being so small would be a talent as well. So,
yes,
uh,
but the problem is that you start out being very slim, but once you start, pulling horses and you build muscle, then all of a sudden you start to expand in the wrong direction, and sometimes if you're not eating properly and that kind of stuff, that muscle just takes over your body, man. It turns into like cement. You know what I mean? It just gets heavier and heavier, and it's crazy.
Well, for me, like I always said, and I said before, I admire you jockeys because you guys are got tremendous talent. Just being able to be directing and riding horses like that going so fast, and your weight got to be so little. That takes a tremendous amount of effort and strength and
But
smartness.
I understand. I understand what Darren said earlier. I took a picture the other day with Rocco Boyne and Richard Hughes, and these guys are so tiny. I mean, and you begin to doubt yourself that you used to ride too, man. You know what I mean?
But you remember the first thing I told you that you are a giant in jockey world.
Yeah. And by the time I finished, I was this size. You know what I mean? So I mean, I knew that this is not something I should be doing. Or I can't make a life out of this because you're killing yourself every time you try to lose weight and that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? It's always stress. And for Darwin, it was even worse because
Look who
he was
decides
even
to pop
tall.
up.
It was there. But see, Rocco, my dad's favorite jockey number one. All right, you were a rock
Yeah,
star. You know.
big up Rocco, man. One love, brother.
Rocco, man. But there were a lot of tall guys though. You know what I mean? Or guys who just got heavy, like Neil Brewster, Jeffrey Brown. You know what I mean? Charlie Brown. All those guys, man, were good riders, but
Well,
just
what?
got
I'm glad to
heavy.
see like a lot of jockeys. Well, not a lot, but a few so far come on the show and be able to tell their story and to let because in Canada and America, on the big stage, you don't see um, the jockeys of color or take that front, you know, and it's almost like the majority of the public seems is like it's like some kind of thing like it's exquisite or something, whatever, to for a black jockey to be in a big race or something. And there's a lot of tremendous talent out there. You just
Yeah. Listen, for myself, what we're doing now, I wish I could have heard the story of a guy like Sonny Holder.
mm.
I mean, those guys, Dennis Richards. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that we could eventually, get somebody like Charlie Jones on, Godfrey Griffith, Winston Walton, some of those older guys who could tell us some stories from back in the olden days of what they went through. You know, it's good to compare generations to see what the struggles were and how things were, for everybody. It seems that Darwin's lost a bit. Are you seeing him?
Now you might be able to get hold of him a little bit faster. So maybe if you can even send him a message, whatever, maybe you can help him or direct him, or maybe he's figuring it out, and it's just a matter of time. That's all. But that being said, we're still good to go. We're still on the show, and it's good to be here, man. What a race last week. I'm glad to hear that Philly came back in order and came back fit and ready to go. Um, I'm glad to hear that you're excited also about that one for last week.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a nice horse like that, what I mean, especially in the islands, it's something special, to have. I guess people not really familiar with her yet, and they didn't expect her to run so well, but she's a nice horse.
Yes, keep your fingers crossed that with horse racing and with horses, you never know what happens. So just a matter of keeping everything in order and keeping her fit and ready to go. I
As
know
as
I
as the great Roger Atfield said, more or less, you want to keep them happy.
yeah
You know what I mean?
well yeah. Well, I guess she may have to get a boyfriend or something, or is that not
But
not a good thing?
when you keep a horse happy, man, it's just making sure they're not hurting, no pain, overstressed in the body and that kind of stuff. And basically that's what it is. Once a horse is happy, they'll do anything for you. You know,
Yeah,
horses
that's
that
right.
hurt and stuff, they're not they get kind of like anybody else with pain. I never see anybody with pain who's happy.
That's true. That's true.
And
Actually, you know what, saying that you get really grumpy, and I'm finding that out myself. Like forget it, like I've always lived with pain from playing football, soccer, right? And but
Mhm.
lately, the knees and stuff like that, I get really grumpy when I can't do what I usually do. you know, I get really grumpy, man. You know what it is to be able to beat your sons and daughters at a sprint, and then you find out that they're beating you at a sprint now.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I I can't run with my son because he's a real good athlete. So I know the feeling. And he had done that like almost 5 years ago. So I used to take him running with me, and me thinking I was going to kill him. Then he used to go away, and I mean, so easy, effortlessly, just go 100 yards and just kind of just chill out on me. And so that's when I knew old age was kicking in.
Old age, eh? Some people say
Old
we're
age,
just getting better, and sometimes we just say old age,
yeah.
But Sean, for real though, I know I touched a little bit about the savannah and about the all the announcements being made at a thing the show last week,
Mhm.
at Coolmore, but for a viewer, a person who just tuning in just to watch the show, or just because when you watch horse racing on TV, you Jim Bannon said, you love the shows, you love the stories about the horses, maybe stories about jockeys, about barns, about all kinds of stuff. And all I kept hearing was mask, mask, mask. Pull your mask up if you're going to take a sip. Put your mask right back down, and all this kind of stuff. It was kind of crazy.
Oh, he's back. All right.
Yeah, you
We're
guys
good?
there? I had to change locations. Yeah, give
Okay.
me 1 second. Let me turn the light on.
Well,
All
that's
right.
fine.
Give me 1 second.
Well, Mr. Clark is back, just like that.
Yes. It's almost getting dark by now.
Probably. Yeah. What time is it now? 7:48. Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
Probably coming on to 5 o'clock now or something.
Yeah, it's
Good
4:49
now?
my time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah. Sorry, I had to change locations and hardwire.
You
Well,
sound better now.
here we go. Let's go.
Uh, all right, let's go.
So we were discussing what now?
He has some tough words
Oh
that he was
yes.
gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
and I don't know if we
You
can
were
refresh him, but go ahead.
yeah.
All guys talking, right? Yeah. So like I said, I was in said the show was going to be the good, the bad, and the very ugly. And so I actually will give props to people that helped me along the way. You know, but also highlight some of the just my opinion, the bad things that happened to me while working for these folks. So we'll run through it real quick. I won't stay too long on any one person. I was saying previously, I went to Trinidad with Richard Dean, I think when I was 13 years old, and got my passport in a day, thanks to Sean's dad. And we went to Trinidad, had a really good time. We were showing horses, trimming horses, stayed at Senator Bovel's place. And, in Barbados, we come up with a certain amount of etiquette. But here I am sitting on this huge dinner table, probably 15, maybe 20 people every night. And I got 3 forks on one side, 4 spoons on the other, and I'm lost. You know what I mean? And I'm just watching everybody, see what everybody does. You know how you do this, how you do that. And for a Beijing guy, 13 years old, out of the village, that is overwhelming. But I got through, and I thank Richard Dean for stuff like that. I mean, that was an experience that I'll never forget, ever in my whole life. So I praise him for that. I praise him for every single thing he did for me. But like I said, the after the Derby, and I'm not blaming him for this. Fraternity as a whole kind of turning their back on you because they're thinking that you're leaving your guy. You know, this guy is your guy. You should stay with him. But I think Richard is a really lovely human being. And I'm saying this so other people in that position, I'm telling them, do what you have to do. You know, don't worry about the repercussions, you know. And then after I quit riding, I worked for Joseph, Staffy Joseph Sr. for a long time. Well, 3 years when you're young is a long time. And a great guy. You know, he told me all the pitfalls. I used to have a nice car. And a friend of mine used to borrow my car all the time. And he said, Darwin, don't lend this guy your car, you know. And I wouldn't listen. So the guy wrecked my car, totaled my car. I mean, absolutely totally. I think the only thing I salvaged was my amplifier, and I used to have a cassette player. And Southeast told you that, you know, shooting me out. Next day I go to work, and he tells me go to Fort Royal Garage and pick a car up. So I did go over there. I looked around. I didn't want a car. It's like, you know, I didn't see anything. So he said, "Oh, truck. As long as you work, you drive my truck, take it home. It's your take care of it like your truck." When I bought my first house, I think I was 21, somewhere around there. I didn't have a refrigerator, and every night when I'm leaving Safi's place, I had to go get ice. And he's like, "Why are you getting ice all the time?" I'm like, "I don't have a fridge." Next day, boom, I got a fridge. So I started training while I was working for him. He got my trainer license. I won my first race as a trainer with one of his horses. And my second race as a trainer, I was training a horse with Dr. Gus Reeder. Horse called Say Nothing, had a chip in her knee, we took it out. And the horse is going to 9 furlong race. She's going to win for sure. But prior in that time, between my first race, my first win and my second win, Safi and Gus had a falling out. Okay? Has nothing to do with me, but those two guys, they're not. Saturday race day, I was working as a cashier also. That was part of my job while I was with him. I'm packing up. I balance out my books. I'm ready to go. And he's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, it's race day and I got to go saddle, Say Nothing." And this guy that was so great to me turns to me and said, "If you saddle Say Nothing today, you would not work for me tomorrow." Now, bear in mind, this is the guy I just painted a picture, a great guy. But because him and another person I'm working for, they have a disagreement, I can't perform my duties for that person. So what I do is like, okay, well, I guess I got to call Gus and tell him I can't train his horse. So I did that. I called him up. I said, "Hey, I can't train the horse." I don't remember if I told him the reason why, but he was like, "Okay, well, I'll find another trainer." And I think Richard, that's his name went down, and the horse won. But you know, faith has a way of sending you down the right track. Because I ended up quitting working for Safi shortly after that. And I mean, it wasn't pretty because I just cold quit. I was like, "I'm done." Parked his truck and I was done. And some time went by, and then he sent the boys and said, "Hey, you know, tell him to come back. I'll cut back some of the work and that," because I was waking him up at 5 in the morning and leaving his place at 11 p.m. at night most nights. So it was a lot of work. But anyway, so I went back. He cut back my workload, and then I got fired. His wife fired me. I wasn't working hard enough. But anyway, I mean, it was a very good experience. I enjoy my time there, enjoy being a cashier. But the pure, boy, I don't even know if I want to use this word, but I'll use it anyway. The pure ownership of another human being is something that I can't tolerate. You know that people that pay you for a job well done still think they have the power to own and control you. And I'm not sitting here thinking I'm an angry person or race has anything to do with it or anything like that. It's just, you know, I'm in a position now in my life that I hire people. Well, not anymore, but at some point, I would hire people, fire them, whatever. And I would never use my power, to manipulate or push them around or make them feel smaller than what they really are. You know what I mean? I would never ever do that. And I find some people in Barbados tend to do that. They tend to absolutely think that they own you. And came a point when I finally left Safi that I wanted to talk to him to say whatever he's paying you, we'll pay $100 more a week, just so they would have his guy, quote unquote. And I'm like, no, I'm done with Syrians, man. I told him straight up, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to be in this environment anymore. So I moved on and I started training for myself. I'm going to talk a lot because I'm old. So I moved on, I started training on my own. And then Safi had a problem one night with P. He was dead lame Friday night before a race, and he sent the boys again to come get me. And I go over, and we're not speaking. I mean, he's up on his veranda. I'm taking care of the horse. The horse was jogging fine, before I left. And the horse was second the next day, and he's the happiest guy in the world. And we're back being friends again, until my buddy Sean, he had a horse by the name of Cruise Missile, or his dad. And he had an accident, stuff like that. And Sean asked me if I wanted to train him. I think he was my only horse at the time. So yeah, I'll take a shot. And getting him ready for a race, I think we run third the first start, then we won the second start. But I mean, we had some success with him. And somehow, Safi's horse, I want to say the horse name was the Pirate. But anyway, it was a Rodney Jones bred horse. Definitely wasn't Style Master, but it might have been a Pirate. So woke up one morning, the horse has a swelling somewhere in the neck. And Barbados at the time maybe had 250,000 people. And the only person in the world can inject his horse was me. So he came up with a story that I jumped the fence and got into the stall. I inject his horse because I had Cruise Missile in the race. And I'm thinking, this is a guy that would trust me to bring home large sums of money, his gun, be in his house. And why would I do that? Why would you think I'm so low that I would do that to beat your horse in a race? I mean, I would like to ask him, what did I do? What kind of behavior I display in my life or my course of time working with him to make him think that I would do that? That I would be such a low person that I would do that just to win a race. You know what I mean? So that was the turning point with me and this gentleman. Well, it wasn't really, because it'll come full circle. So he was telling everybody that I doped his horse, I inject his horse can't run. And I met him at the races that day, and I told him, I said, Safi, told him as God is my witness. And
You really said that?
he went back and he told her, oh, I swear to God. You can ask Safi Joyce Sr. And
No,
he
I
went
don't want to
back
stop
and
you
he
from
said,
talking, so I'm not going to address that. So keep going.
Yeah. So he told everybody I was on drugs, that I looked him right in the eye, and I told him that. But, we're all Bajans. So somehow, somewhere down the line, we went on with life. We became, I don't know, friends. I guess friends again. We just rolled right back into that wicked weave of Bajan culture. You know what I mean? Where everything is good again. But we so the Cruise Missile story that will parlay into another story. So by training Cruise Missile, I ended up getting a couple from Amory Phillips. Because once Cruz win, I think I got Great Wall and some other horses. So my training career took off, and yeah, again back to the conduit that is Sean Hall, or the Wes Hall's conduit. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it was a roller coaster. Wherever you went, whatever you did was a roller coaster. Like I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Well,
So
now,
that's my life story in Barbados.
when you first started talking, you said, it has nothing to do with you being angry or it had nothing to do with race. But tell me the truth. Were you angry?
I think I'm more angry now that I'm a quote unquote well-rounded person. But at the time, I just took it as it's Barbados. It's Barbados. That's how it is. Nothing's going to change. And yeah, but I don't think more angry now as an adult because I consider myself a young person, maybe not necessarily a child, but I was in my early 20s. Yeah, but I guess frustrated because I thought that these people were like you were part of the family. You know what I mean? You were. I was getting a good wage for hard work and getting my services. I think that was our contract right there. Hard work. Here's your money. But I mean, like I said, the good and bad and ugly because he treated me really well.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say that he did not treat me well. But then when you display those type of behaviors, you're like, am I going to contradict myself by saying that you treat me well? It's kind of like you're the breadwinner of the family. You give everything to your wife, but you beat her every night. So
Hmm.
you're not treating her well.
That's
So
not so
I
nice.
don't know how. No. I mean, I have so many stories of that, and just things that happen along the way. So,
But
but
my
yeah, that's
question
my
to you
my
now
right
is,
in the trenches.
my question to you is, getting out of Barbados have given you a freedom that you could talk about this now? I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
I would have talked about it in Barbados. I would have talked about it in Barbados. I mean, I am coming on and talking about it now, so other people don't go through that or think they have to stick it out. You know what I mean? Just say, hey, move on, because eventually you're going to move on anyway. Eventually, I moved on. You don't have to go through what I went through or the Bajans went through. As far as the writers are concerned, you're going to always get taken off horses. That's just part of the business you're in, and then you'll become that person is going to take someone off their mount. I saw Emil Ramsamy Christmas, probably 1987. He won the Triple Crown on Skyrocket or Moonrocket, one of those rocket horses. And then Declan Gillespie came in and they took Emil off this horse to ride Declan Gillespie. And he cried like a little boy. I was next to him on the bench there by Joe Hattie's barn. And he was sobbing like a little kid. And I'm thinking, this is champion jockey Emil Ramsamy, man. I mean, but you can't tell a man what to do with his horses. You can't tell him, he's paying the bills. He's making those calls. I mean, the same with Enrico and Rocco. Our situation there. I spoke to you about it, and I said, look, man, I've been talking to Rocco about this for a long time. So Enrico won the first race. I said, but I'm going to make the call. This is what But I felt for the kid in Barbados because he was there. He's riding, did nothing wrong, but you know it was just a unique situation. That's how I'm excusing myself from from my BA. I was just a unique situation, but,
Do
it
you think it's
happens.
necessary?
Uh,
Do you think it's necessary, like what you're saying right now and what you're doing? Do you think it's necessary that I know you probably thought about this before you said it, but is it necessary to let the people in the industry know how the business is run so that when things like this happen, people don't hold these kind of feelings for a very long time, you know?
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, every industry that you're in, there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be ups and downs. So, I mean, if you know going in, okay, this is what I need to look for. this is just part of the culture, then you'll be all right. You'll know, hey, it's not me. I'm not a bad rider. I'm not a bad trainer. It's just a culture. You know, I plead to people. People call me and I'm like, hey, this guy is my guy. You know, you're not going to change that. You know, and people look at, okay, Darwin and Sean, what do I have in common? We go way back. I mean, people don't understand how deep our history is, how deep our connection is. But they will see surface, okay, Darwin and Sean, they're friends. But it's deeper than that. I mean, Sean was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding. We lived together as roommate for years. We rode together. You know, before I became a jockey, his dad took me to their house and he showed a video called The Jockey. He wanted me to see, you know, just not the glitz and the glamour, but you know, X amount of jockeys get hurt every year. You know, X amount of jockeys are on drugs. X amount of jockeys are this. So it's more like being a father figure. You know, so Sean was always in there. Sean hung out with me. So Sean is a middle class guy. I mean, he's not. He wasn't a poor village guy or a poor guy in Barbados. You know, he was grew up as what we will call in Barbados middle class. You know, and man, Sean ate so much corned beef and biscuits with me, macaroni. I mean, everything. We had a room there by Richard's place, and man, and I used to look at this kid and thinking, what are you doing hanging out with us? What are you doing? Just chilling with us. Go, man. You got a nice bed somewhere. You know what I mean? They used to live there below on Banks at the time. And I'm thinking, man, a couple miles down the road, bro. But he would hang out with us, sleep with us, man, like he was one of the boys, man. So, I mean, you have to give him kudos for that. And like I said, you know, as time and history progressed, we became tight friends, really, really, really good friends, you know. So it's
Funny,
not just a
funny you should
surface
say that.
thing.
Funny you should say that, Darren, because it's true, Derek. I was the only middle class type of guy. Ricky came from Villa Road and Bridges Hill. Turkey from Hearts Gap. Mervyn was from the Pine right below us there. But I hang in every area. I was one of the few people I could go in every area, and just I spent many nights in Dash Valley running around
Yeah.
with these guys. I mean, not even.
You don't have to tell me everything that you did in Dash Valley, my friend.
Oh, hey, hey, Derek, that's a whole different show. That's a different show.
No,
Oh,
but
oh,
I found that it was very important for me. I mean, one thing I could say about my father, my grandmother lived, she died in Rosette's housing area. So you know what I mean? I knew it was to go to the housing area every day to eat lunch. You know what I mean? It was not a big thing. My father always made sure that we knew what it was to be. You know, he kept us grounded to be close to that area. You know what I mean? And everything we did. So hang with them guys and thing was like nothing. You know what I mean? It was pure fun for me at the time, right? When we eat those white rice and mackerel and white rice and we used to call it horse, the corned beef.
crush cow. You got a crush cow.
But those days were some of the
Oh
best
my
days of my
God.
life, though. You know, those days,
Oh, I
and
agree. I agree.
we used to do
I
everything
absolutely
together. I
agree.
remember, Darren, remember when I was riding, you guys used to run home with me to keep me company. You
Oh
remember?
yeah, we will run whatever. Oh yeah, just for the fun of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
From Edgerton to my house, and then
all the
again
way to
got back
Banks.
up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all those things man, we did
But then
together.
again,
And
like I said, the part of good, Richard Dean was there. He would pick us up after
yeah,
the
yeah,
run. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Richard,
So that was stuff that he's doing, you know, just on the good side. But then I
yeah,
said, then other things
Yes,
that would
man.
happen. You're like, why would you do that? I mean, I had a heartbreak when I was a jockey. I rode Grand Opera and he finished second. And the backstory on Grand Opera was, um, Casey Hawkins and myself, we trained that horse, prepared that horse because Richard wasn't training at the time. And every morning before I go to work for him, I would go with Auntie down to the track, and we'll get up the horse, prepare the horse, and obviously I would ride the horse. And he finished second, and that was a Saturday. Race is a Saturday. I don't know why I say that, but anyway. Sunday, Sonia Perkins showed up. Sonia Perkins showed up at Edgerton. And Derek, I know, I was 15, maybe 16. And the pressure from the guys around the stable was intense, man. I had to go hide. Guys were like, "Oh my God, your horse is gone. You're not gonna ride it anymore." And I was like, I hide in the back somewhere. I could not take it. And true. She rode the horse the next couple of starts. And yeah, but that's just obviously he's looking out for himself as a trainer. Also, he's not thinking, "Here's this guy putting in all this extra effort to get a ride. The horse does something. Maybe we'll allow him to take it to the next level." But he's looking at, "Hey, I'm a trainer. I want to win a race." So there's two sides to that coin. And what you find is it doesn't flip on your side too often. It's kind
As
of
the
like
jockey.
a joke. Yeah, there's a joke. Heads I win, tails you lose. So it's kind of like that as a young rider in Barbados. You're always on the losing end. But I mean, you'll get yours. You'll figure it out. You'll figure the game out. You'll meet some nice people. Like Sean has a bug boy there that I like, and he's going to get some good rides. Just time. He was supposed to ride Jockler and he fell, so he didn't get on her. But time over there. It's just to put in that effort, work hard. It's the same thing with, with me coming here. I met some really nice people. I started from the bottom in the industry I'm in, I should say. And for about 5 years, I ran my own company. And success, but the main about running a small business is you're always chasing your money. So I got tired of that. So I went back into the workforce. And, as luck would have it, I ended up meeting some really nice people. I worked my tail off too. And now, I'm in a position where I tell people whether I want to work for them or not. I'm not bragging. It's just a fact. Like I told Sean, I'm switching jobs here shortly. And where I'm leaving, they're asking me to stay, begging me to stay. And where I'm going, they're like begging me to come. They're like, "Come on, open arms." But that's just the way we work up here. I thought the wife wanted something. I'm sorry, I got distracted there. But anyway, and the field I'm in is it's almost like self-thought. I decide this is where I want to go. This is how I want to do it, and I taught myself how to do most of the things that we do in my industry now. And quick story: there was a guy that bought a company. He bought a construction company, and he asked me to come work for him. And first time I sat down and met with him, he said, "We'll have to take a pay cut, but in 5 to 10 years, he's going to sell his company, and he'll give me $2 million on the back end." I said, "Well, if you put that in writing, I'm good to go." So next time I met him, he changed the goalpost. He moved it. It was different. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm out, man. I'm not doing that, But I've been really fortunate to land the industry that a lot of people that do what I do. Well, I don't think there are many people that do what I do. And I'm fortunate for that. And when I look back on my journey, I think Barbados have almost geared me up for life, for what I do right now, the pitfalls, because you could spend a week or two to put together a bit job and you send it out and you don't get it. Or, you go all the way to scope meetings and you don't get it. But when you do get a job, it's very rewarding. You can make something, you build a nice customers and people like you. So I think Barbados is actually yeah, they galvanized me to be that. And it's all little things along the way, like working for Safi as a cashier, you know, um, Richard Dean, all that. I think all that culminated, I that word properly, but anyway, all that brought everything to fruition. So I'm here now, So
I wanted to
So
ask you about like the progression of like from where you started. So you want when you were young, you want to be a jockey, you want to ride. You were just taking the horses down the hill or whatever just to get right so that you can ride and all that. And then you evolve into jockey, move on to trainer and owner, businessman, all that. Like, who inspired you? And I guess from some of the hardships and some of the ins and outs that you run into, kind of harden you up a little bit. So, who inspired you, and what kind of words would you have for people that are kind of walking the same path that you walked before, as a young man in Barbados as a jockey? And what kind of advice will you give them to tell them, look, this is not the end of the road. There's a whole big future out there for you.
right. So I hope I don't forget any people off this list, and if I do, I apologize. But I think first person would be Miss Ann Dean, Richard Dean's mom. She was a disciplinarian. She was on us all the time for excellence, push us, picked us up on time. Really good time management from her. Um, what else? I mean, she was just like, I would say, one of the most influential people. And when we were kids, I don't want to say hate. Hate is too harsh of a word, but we did not like her because of the constant discipline, the constant do it right the first time, put the stirrups up on the horse, be careful, be careful. And that has almost molded, some of the things that I do now, and I would like to thank her for that. She was a big influence in my life. Um, Wes Hall was another big influence too. Can't say enough about that guy. Uh, and this is a true story. I remember when Sue King was going somewhere for like a draft tournament or something. He was in Minister of Sports and Tourism, and they would not give Suki any money, and Wes took his money and sent him to wherever he was going. So seeing things like that and everything else Wes did. I mean, Wes was kind of like Sean. He would hang out with us, and he was a normal human being. He was a superstar in our eyes, but he was just a man that you can reach out and touch. He was always there. We can always go by his house and drink malts and stuff that you would normally get at your house. So he was very big also. Dean, Saf Joseph. No, it's the truth. I mean, like, I grew up really poor. I was, I went to foundation, and I think my first couple of days there, I was taking a butter sandwich. And guys were hot dogs and burgers, and I'm like, what is going on here? There's other food, but anyway,
That,
like I
that, that
said,
was my
Richard
thing
Dean.
about the sandwich.
Oh yeah, as in Sweetwater, yeah, that was it, man. But then Richard Dean, very very huge. Safi Joseph, obviously. Um, Bill Marshall. I mean, I'm going to forget people, and I'm going to regret it. The Pavasinos, it's kind of things that you pick up along the way. Like Roger Pavasino would always say, "Worry about the pennies, and the dollars would take care of themselves." Little things you hear. Um, I absolutely respect a paymaster like Stud Edwards. I'm going to forget people, and they're going to be mad at me. Um, gotta think. Gotta think.
That's all
I
right. I
mean,
mean,
like
you can always
all
pop them
trainers.
in whenever you're ready, so that's okay.
If I remember, yeah. Or story myself. Hey, I want to say this now. Now I have the space to say it. So Hayden Nichols, I rode a horse called Jamaica Way for this guy. I think I won 3 in a row, and the horse was the ladder all the time. And then we got beat by Magic Feather, who I used to ride for George Alley. And this guy for about 20 years said that I pulled this horse. He's like, you pulled my horse, you pulled my horse. I hope he's listening because I didn't pull his horse. You know what I mean? But he would tell me that all the time. So I don't know how to get that through. Sean, if you see him tomorrow, you tell him I said it on this show. I did not pull Jamaica away.
That's my brother, and I see him every day. I'm going to let him know about it. He might be watching. He might be watching, but
okay. I hope he's watching.
He's watching.
But he went down. He went down. Said I pulled.
No, but I'm getting this. You seem to be getting a lot off your chest.
Oh yeah. Well, shit. I live like a hermit, Sean. I'm in a hole somewhere. so now I have all this stuff bottled up for years. You know what I mean? It's like,
John, I tell you, I cannot find nothing on this guy. Can't find nothing at all. I'm like, who is this guy? Is he real? Is this a real person?
I get all kind of messages from people. You know what I mean? Like I say, I mean, this guy he's been bottling up a lot of frustration for years. But I mean, I must say, Darwin, it seems to have done you well because you seem to be very well. Not seem you're a very successful businessman, and
well, maybe I use that to gather myself. You know, maybe I use that. I don't think I was ever angry. Yeah, I don't think I was ever angry. I think, well, I mean, a lot of things happen. Like I'll talk about the late great Sir Charles Williams right now. One time he was taking Strong to task. Strong was the track and paddock manager. And I literally had enough of it. And like I said, Philip Strong. I don't want to talk about a man that passed away, you know, God rest his soul. But I stepped in the middle of them and I said, look, Cow, if you have a problem with this guy, you go in the office and deal with it. Don't deal with it in front of all the fans, all the people at the Garson. You go in the office and deal with this shit, man. And because I was getting to a point where I could not stand that superiority complex among people, whether they were wealthy or not. You know, I just could not. I could not take the disrespect, and I think that's one of the reasons why I packed up and left Barbados. I was like, because at the time when I left, Sean, I was training for myself. I had about 6 horses, and I was doing my own thing, having a good time. And I just came home one Saturday, and I told the wife, "Pack your stuff up, we're going." Because when I told my wife, you know, I'm going to the U.S., staying right here. You know, you can call it tunnel vision, you can call it whatever, but I wasn't prepared to move to the. I want to stay in Barbados, where you have a certain degree of comfort when you're there. So I think that's what a lot of people don't want to pursue, or you know, step outside that box. You know, but you have the goldfish theory, where you put a goldfish in a small container, he doesn't grow. But you put him in a larger bowl, you know, he'll grow and be a bigger goldfish. So I would encourage, you know, most Bajans that can get out, you come out, spend a year or two, see what it's like, see how different people live, how different people handle their stuff, and you can always go back home if it doesn't work out for you. And just come and do your thing. Like years ago, I think I was back in Barbados for my mom's funeral, and I ran into Patrick. You know, when you run into Patrick, what it is, right? So we were getting down to some business. And,
I'm not sure what that is. Again, I hate to cut you off, but I don't know what it is. Maybe you can share with me.
Patrick has a good time. He has a good time. So, yeah, okay. he just I don't know if I should say it, but he parties when he's in Barbados. He hangs out, you know. We have a good time. We're having a good time, you know.
Okay.
Nothing illicit, just drinking. So I don't want people getting the wrong idea, but yeah, we were drinking, and he said, "Look, come to Canada. You can stay at my house for a year. I'll give you a car for a year. You got a year to get on your foot, you know." And I appreciate he extended the olive branch, but I was trying to do my thing out in Seattle, and you know, I would like to thank him for that opportunity that he presented, you know, to another horseman from Barbados to come out and see if you can, you can get some roots going, see if you get some traction. Bike. I think that was very admirable of him to do that. And I think more Barbadians need to do that. You know what I mean? Whether it's a groom, if you're a groom, you see another groom and say, hey, you come stay at my place for 6 months. Just see how the place is, see how it runs, see if you like it, you know. And they can do that for their fellow groom or whoever. It doesn't have to be a groom. I'm just trying to say that anybody can do it. Speaking of grooms, I remember when I left a good friend, Safi Joseph, I quit training for him, I moved on. And he would tell people I'm not a trainer, I'm a glamorous groom. And I'm thinking, I was just working for you a couple of weeks ago. Why didn't you tell me that when I was working for you a couple of weeks ago? And I wanted so bad in my life to name a horse Glamorous Groom, so bad. But I'm sure the name is probably protected. But yeah, every time I think of that guy, that's why I think, this is a guy that we won a lot of races together. We went through the trenches together. And just because I moved on, all of a sudden I got degraded or demoted to a Glamorous Groom. But I mean, even 50%, I'll take the groom part. I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't care. But I just think that those people do and think that they're gonna stop you on your journey. Stop you in your tracks. But I could say the biggest difference between Barbadian culture even here is that people here tend to want to help you. They absolutely want to help you. I can't commend that enough about North America in general. People will try to help you, and once you put in the work, you'll get the opportunity. I remember you asked me a question about the transition from being a jockey trainer to where I'm at right now. Where I live right now, I bought this property, and it had maybe 80 something trees, maybe more. So I remember I brought Rock O'Boyne down here and I said, look, Rock, I just bought this property. I'm going to build a house here, but I want you to see the progress. You come and see, it's raw land right now. And then as they cut the trees down, we start to clear out the land. We start to dig the foundations and stuff like that. I would bring him back at different intervals. And then obviously I brought him back for the finished product, And he was blown away. He's like, man, I can't believe he did this, but moving here is the best thing I did in my life. I can do, anything. I can absolutely do anything. I can probably build a house, not that I want, from the bottom up, and every component inside I can probably fix or do. And Barbados, I could not drive a nail. I remember when Sean got married, I was actually flipping a house, and he called me, say, hey, I'm getting married, and I was, man, I'm next door flipping this house, And then to show you how you can inspire other people, my good friend Paul heard that this is back in 99 or 98, Sean. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Paul heard.
I think 2000. I think.
No, that doesn't make sense. It would have to be 98, brother. Yeah, it's 98. 98 or 99. For sure. But anyway, we can argue with the dates later. But anyway, my friend Paul heard that I was flipping a house. And he said, well, I'm more handy than Darwin or Biaf, whatever my name is. He said, I'm more handy than Biaf. And he started flipping houses. This guy was flipping 3 or 4 houses a month, Sean. I swear to God. And it's based on the fact that I was in a house somewhere. I'm over in Washington flipping a house. He's in Ohio. He's flipping 3 or 4. But he ran into some, again, showing you how Americans help you. He ran into some financial people out somewhere. And they're like, oh, we're into banking and, we repossess houses. And the nice ones that need a little paint job and a yard mode, we'll keep those and we'll sell those. But the ones that have the dog poop and people, write on the walls because they're angry and stuff like that, he said, you can flip those. We'll give those to you. You can flip them. So there were financing the house, financing the flip. Then if you didn't get it sold in 6 months, you would have to refinance it, rent it out or whatever. it was a golden deal. I'm like, man, how do you find these deals? You know what I mean? If someone wanted to bankroll me with that, it's like you're gonna put all the seed money, you're gonna help it grow, and then I reap some of the bits. I'm there. I'll be there tomorrow. You know what I mean? You want to bankroll something like that, but that's just due to me. So when I'm on the show tonight talking, I hope one or two people I can say, okay, that guy went through this, so I can do it too, or this is the way to go. I'm hoping that I can at least reach a couple people. Kind of like what Leroy was echoing. It's the same thing here. It's like if you can help one or two, it will be a job done.
You there?
Yeah, you go ahead, Derek. I can
Oh,
keep talking if you want. I just wanted to.
Oh
If you guys
no,
have
well,
questions.
I thought we had lost you, but
We lost you,
you
babe.
mentioned
No, I'm here.
Leroy.
I'm here.
You mentioned
Yes.
Leroy, and I wanted to ask you when it came to that, because you started off being so strong in the horse racing game, and all the big dreams, horse, like any young boy or any young rider would do, but you grew a little bit too big for riding, or the weight and so forth, and and you evolve, and you see a bigger future, but you're still involved in the sport, you're still involved in the horse racing business. I mean, these are things that you can probably teach, and Sean and some other guys too, who got this knowledge about horse
Yeah.
racing, just to be, you can be part of the game, but also be mindful that you might have to move on or move elsewhere, but this is still, the
Yeah.
passion, still the business, still the love.
Well, like you know, in my evolution, I got to work on different teams. I got to I worked for a huge construction. I used to work for a huge construction company. There were maybe top 10 in the U.S. And I would run a four-man team. I was lead. I would do all the bidding. I had a project engineer. I had another guy that bid some fire stopping for me. And we did. I might be a little off tracks here, but I'll come back on. But well, I'm going to take you down a path. You have to learn your role, what you're good at, do what you're good at, let the other guy, do what he's good at. We used to have a review called a 360 something, but you'll get 5 of your peers and your boss to fill out your review, and then they'll fly you to Kansas to review it. And one of the things that always came back on my review is I wasn't good at delegating. I would always try to do everything, because I worked for myself and I did everything. So once I transitioned to working for other people, I want to take that role on. I would be over everybody to make sure they're doing everything right. So that was my biggest problem. So learn over time, like, you just put people in place and let them do their thing. There's people in Barbados saying that, that I'm training horses there and I'm doing this. And I'm like, no, I am 6 hours behind Mr. Hall. The earliest I would call Sean is about 10 o'clock his time, because I don't get it before 6. And people are still saying, no, man, because you can't convince them any different, Can't convince them that this guy has talent and he's doing his thing, he's doing his thing.
Who,
And
Sean?
I would never question, yeah, that guy, the guy there, he has some talent, but I have never questioned him on, hey, did you jog this morning? Hey, did you do that? It's like, hey, how's things going? And my reply all the time, he would tell you, same shit, different day. That's my reply when he asks me how I'm doing. And that's our conversation. It goes from there. But I'm not in his business, and he's not in mine. And I'm definitely a result-oriented guy. So, he's going to give me the results. I mean, he called me
Or
and he's like,
I will get fired.
yeah, exactly. So he knows that. I don't have to reiterate that, do I?
Oh, you know it.
Anyway, I want to absolutely take a quick break and wipe my nose. I don't want to be that rude. So,
You go ahead, man.
can
Do
you
what
give
you
me
got
one
to do.
second? One,
Yeah, go
one
ahead. You
second,
do what
one
you got to
second.
do.
Go ahead, man.
Me
I
and
know you're
Sean
getting
talk
old.
about They're trying to
Get it
figure out
all
how
right,
Sean
so
won't
we
get
would give
fired.
him. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes in North America. If you don't produce the goods, you get fired. I ain't got a problem with that.
Well, I guess I should wait until I was waiting for breaks so that when he paused that I could ask him some questions about um the transition from Barbados, the the in Barbados. I guess he's there. He can probably hear me, but owners feeling like they actually own you, and you don't, you work for them, but they don't they don't own you, but people feeling like
Yeah,
they
but
own you.
that's that's how it is here.
Sorry about
I
that,
mean,
guys.
still that way.
I want to ask you something.
You see,
Now that I got the chance to ask you, and we can just pause for a second. And so you were mentioning earlier about when you were in Barbados, you're working for people, and how I felt when the owner of the horses or whatever actually felt like they own you. I mean, you work for them, but having that feeling like someone owned you, which is kind of weird for me because I've never had to be in a position like that. Thank God.
yeah.
Obviously, you're
Well,
working Barbados long enough.
again, you guys are gonna make me seem like the worst person in the world, ungrateful, whatever. But these are stories of my life, and like I said, if you feel that I'm lying or I should take it that way, that means you were in the wrong. Okay, and that's just my opinion. Everybody has one, right? But when I was, boy, 13 or 14, man, I don't even want to make this a racist show because it seems to be going down that road, right? I'm going to tell it like it is. We used to have that program in Barbados, but I was 13 or 14, and this old guy, you remember Johnson,
Mhm.
Sean, the old guy with
Yeah, yeah,
Jesse?
I remember. Yes.
He told me that I got to call somebody, master this and master that. And I'm talking about 1980. I'm not talking about 1950 or 1940. And I was like, no way on God's earth I'm calling any person and put master in front of their name. And he would tell me, oh, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. I'm like, get rid of me, but I'm not doing it. And I was a young boy, but I knew that would never come out my mouth, ever, ever, ever. I just absolutely knew that that's not going to happen. And that's a true story. I don't need to make bullshit up. True story. I was in a white man's house. There were two black people, and your former guest was the other black person there. And we were watching movies because back in the day, there's only a few people that had satellite dish, and we're there watching a movie on the satellite. And the dad came home, and the dad called the daughter in his bedroom. And she came back out, and she's like, "Come on, guys, let's go and party." And I'm thinking, we're watching a movie, you know. And we left. I think we went to Harbor Lights, and I pull her aside. And I'm like, what's this? We're watching a movie. Everybody's cool. Your dad come home, and we gotta go. And she told me straight up, Sean. She said, my dad said there was too many black people in this house. All right, there's a white girl telling me this. And
In
bear in mind,
Barbados?
he has a maid, and he has in Barbados, yeah. Bear in mind, he has a maid and a gardener that's in his house every day. But yeah, and people, people would ask you all the time, have you ever this, have you ever that? And I'm like, man, I don't like to go down that racist road. Yeah, it's kind of it's rough. It's rough when oh, I mean, it's his house, right?
I
I
mean, you're
mean, he
just telling
said
your
too many
truth, though.
people. Right, it's his truth. I mean, I respect that. I mean, but people would ask me all the time, like, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever experienced that? When you say yes, they look at you like, no way. There's no way a guy like you, like even where I live now, there's some of my neighbors because the closest neighbor is not that close. I live like 5 minutes from the city, but it's kind of a suburb. and they would slow down going by my house every stinking day, and I just want to go and say, look, I live here. You know, do you have a problem? And I don't think they have a problem. I just think, you know, I'm trying to sugarcoat it, but I don't know if I can sugarcoat it. But anyway, let's just move on. That's just one of the things. But you see stuff like that. You know, when I was building the house, people stop by and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. And it's like, "Are you going to sell it?" I'm like, "No, I'm moving here." And they'll look at you like you're lying. Like, all right, whatever. You know, I'm see you later. Yeah, and then people would ask me stuff like, "Why did you build your house this small?" and stuff like that. And my house is big for me. It's just the wife and I. It's big, but got people around here got 6,000 square foot houses and stuff like that. But that's not me. You know what I mean? I don't want to pay those taxes. I don't want to do it. So I just sit here in my neighborhood and just hang out. You know,
Uh,
I have a
I tell
Korean
you what,
neighbor. Go ahead.
you better check your cameras or whatever. Your dogs are barking really hard. So I don't know. You got
I
some
think that's Sean.
shooters or what?
That's
That's
Sean.
my dog.
That's
Oh, that's Sean's
that's
dog.
Sean.
That's
Yeah.
my
Oh, you
dog.
better check your
Yeah.
cameras.
Yeah.
Well, I'm well
my,
protected.
my
Can you
dogs
hear
are
that? Whoever
my dogs
appears
are
in
aiming with a
trouble.
wife right now. Yeah. But yeah, I
Yes.
mean, I I had a very good life. I was fortunate, and I met a lot of nice people along the way. A lot of great people. But once I moved to America, and it went to a different level. I've grown so much. It's like day and night. You know, some of the stuff that happened to me in Barbados would not happen to me now, obviously, for more than one reason. But the main reason is I'm not as radical as Sean, but I would speak my mind when that comes to, you know, I would speak my mind and say, hey, you know, just step off, you know. 'Cause, but people need to
All
go
right.
through stuff.
Yeah.
But
No, go ahead. But I was
yeah,
saying like
I was saying,
you transitioned to the U.S. and your business acumen and your business head kind of it got when I say it got bigger, it doesn't mean that you know what I mean. I don't mean it that way, but I mean like you expanded, right? And you see a bigger
yeah,
future. You see things on a different level. Um, and is there stuff or any ideas that you have maybe to help the industry in Barbados? And what are those things?
I think that might be a different show. So I have a good friend, and you know, I tell them, hey, tune in. We have races in Barbados, and I think it was a sixth race, the apprentice race last Saturday.
Oh, you
Um,
races. I thought you said we have
person,
a race list in Barbados. I was like, oh, what the hell? What's going
no,
on
no,
here now?
uh, the ES,
Oh, okay.
horse racing, horse racing. I said I don't want to
Okay,
turn
go
to that
ahead.
kind of show, but
I'm
anyway.
glad you cleared that up.
So yeah, they were tuning in to the show, and before Jockey's race, they text me to say that was painful. And this is a person. This person told me, look, hey, I have 20 to 50 to spend. He says, I would either ride a horse, New York, Toronto, or Barbados. And the person picked those three places because I said, look, I have connections in Toronto, I have connections in New York, I have obviously connections in Barbados. And this person said, wherever I could fly to go see my horse run, you know, whatever. So they're tuning in. And like you were saying in the beginning of the show about the guy, you know, every 2 seconds, he's explaining the proper way to install a mask. You know,
Yeah.
if you have to sit, do this, you pull it over your nose and your chin. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so redundant. Tell me that the skies are blue and the birds are chirping or something colorful. And reminding people the proper way to use a mask. And it drives me crazy. But so I was glad to hear it because I thought maybe I'm the only one that's, you know, being so anal about the commentary. But yeah, it's painstaking to hear that every single day. But the industry in Barbados, man, where do I start? I'll start at the bottom and work up. So they're saying that the gates, maybe the horses, proximity people, getting horses in the gates, it's going to be harder than Africa or whatever's happening, right? And I see horses in Toronto. The starter calls them up, one, close, two, close, three, close, boom, boom. 12 horses, all close, all in properly, and the gate spring. I mean, that's what Barbados should aspire to see from the gate crew at the Garden. And then other people would say, well, there's some grooms or other horses holding my horse. And I know years ago there was a horse owner that said that the attendant held his horse. There's a conflict of interest here, but the same conflict of interest is throughout the garden, whether it's the starting stalls or to the top. So you're going to have it. It's a small society. You're not going to have people working that don't have family, friends, husbands, daughters that working in the same industry. You're going to have it. So if you don't want that, maybe you bring in some volunteers to do it, or you can have your groom hold your horse in the gate. I see there's a couple of people that go down to the start every Saturday, and I'll call them. I see Edward Walcott there the last couple of days. I see little Perkins over there. Well, he's an adult now, or he acts like a little person, but he's an adult. And I even saw Victor. But I've seen some trainers go down to get the horses in the gate. This should not be down there. School your horses. And I think the starter, if you give trouble for a couple of days, you come back and you have to pass the starter. You know what I mean? There should be systems in place to combat that, where you can load 7 horses without one giving trouble. And there's only a couple of reasons why horses don't go in the gates. And the number one reason is pain. If they're hurting, they're going to say, hey, buddy, I don't want to do this today. If I ever had a horse that would give trouble going in the gate, I'm going to make sure I school my horse and get him back to where he's supposed to be, where he's going to walk in that starting stall. I remember when I was riding. Was I riding? Yeah, I think I was riding. Credit Note is the name of the horse. He would always give trouble to go in the gate. A ton of trouble. About maybe 8-10 people to force him in. And that's the right word to describe that, force him in. And he won races. I think he won second in the Derby. But one morning, he just dropped down dead on the track. He's just boom. And forever, he was telling everyone that I don't want to do this. There's something wrong that I don't want to do this. Horses just don't bolt. They're hurting. They're just bad horses. If a horse is bolt, getting in, getting out, is because he's hurting. Here at their local track, Rock used to ride some horses, and they'll put on like a full ice shield on the horse so it doesn't get out or get in, depending on what he's doing. And I would always say, Rock, that horse is hurting. And the horse maybe will run 1 or 2 good races, and then the horse is gone for 6 to 8 months. And it's a simple fact that horse was hurting. So when my fellow Barbadians say, it's a crowd noise, it's this and that, that's why the horses aren't going in the gates, I think they need to get back and putt. You know what I mean? They're absolutely, there's no way that they can fool themselves into thinking that. And I'm not a horse expert. I just got, 40-something years in the industry, but I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I know that's happening. Another thing that I think the turf can do is, have your programs out. So a trainer can look ahead and see, okay, well, I have a race with my horse in 6 weeks. I have a race with my horse in 8 weeks. Like I said, I'm trying to get a customer base here that can fly to Barbados to go watch their horses run. But if they don't know that their horse is running in 6 weeks, how can they make plans to come to Barbados? They can't plan a trip if they know, my horse won't be running in 6 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever. So, right now, I think they have the program out for March 26th. but there's nothing after that. So I know there's a race there on April 8th. I think there's one on April 26th. I might be wrong on that date, but there's nothing. So you can't say, well, I'll plan my race. I'll shoot for this race. I won't run here. I'll run there. So stuff like that. I mean, that's easy stuff. Fixing the track and stuff like that. That's expensive stuff. But I have to go back to Philip Strawn when he was track and paddock manager. That grass track was perfect. He used to cut patches out and replace them. He absolutely took care of that track. That's the best time I ever saw that track. And I know as a rider, there was a hole by the half-mile pole, and then there was a hole by the 2 furlong pole. Now I'm seeing holes going up the hill. I mean, it's like, oh God, a 9 furlong race, I'm watching the horses mill around, and there's just patches, bare patches. And I'm thinking, how can that be good for any horse to run over, But
Darwin, I want to ask you something, because maybe I'm getting a little bit sentimental here, and maybe I'm a little bit soft. And just to hear that the horses don't want to go inside the gate is because they're hurting, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. And just to know that as a horseman, that, and I guess not everyone in the industry know that, or if they do, they still, because you know what, it kind of, in a strange and in Barbados, they'll say in a grunt way, it got me feeling like, people that are forced to kind of do things under the whip. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then the horse drops down dead because the horse is hurting, can't run.
I'll give you a template, okay? And if you follow horse racing, you look for horses that run out, horses that were turned for home and one switch over to the next lead. Those horses don't last. You know what I mean? There's a reason why the horses aren't switching over. And I mean, that's the dark side of horse racing. I was a trainer, and I mean, it's a business, but you still have to take care of those ponies, man. If you love the horses, you got to take care of them. I remember Doug O'Neill. He had a run in for the Triple Crown, and boy, I want to say is I'll have another or something like that, right? But I think he had won the first 2 legs. And then for the Belmont, he came on and said the horse was injured. He's going to scratch the horse. And he said that years ago he would have ran the horse. He said, but now I'm a bigger trainer. I'm a better trainer. I'm not going to run it. Because sometimes you'll push, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, let me get in one more start. Let me do this. Oh, the leg would hold up. And you start that path, you break horse down. Instead of giving them a chance to heal, maybe throw them out for a little bit. I don't know if I want to say this, but there was a horse that just had some surgery on an ankle, because she had a chip in the ankle. And now the game plan is to do this with this horse, because we know what was wrong. We corrected it, and we'll go down a different path, But the prognosis from the vet was like, oh, this horse is going to be great. You can walk it for 3 weeks, do this for 3 weeks, and start back training. But I'm like, no, we're going to throw it out for 6 months. So if you want to take care of your horse, they'll take care of you. But you have to be willing to spend the necessary money and take care of the ponies. Because if you don't, they'll break. And I always would tell myself when I was a trainer, if you don't give a horse time, when that horse decides to take time, it's going to be more time than you intended to give it, period. So if you think you can throw it out, bring it back in 2 months, if that horse breaks down, it's 6 to 8 months. It's a longer period. So you can save yourself some time and money by doing the right thing, taking care of that horse.
Okay. I mean, that's great. I want to ask you something else, because I watched, like I said, I keep saying I was watching racing, and I noticed that like you said, the horses are having a hard time going inside the gate. I also noticed that where the horses are being loaded in, I guess in different spots depending on the type of race it is. But there's I know Barbados is only so big, but there's just a bunch of people around the gate, and there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people. I'm just wondering if perhaps if they could funnel the people. I know it's different time of the pandemic. I know all this stuff, but just the people around the horses and the horses being loaded. I know it's been like this for years and years and years, but are those things that they can probably look at, maybe perhaps tweak just a little bit?
Okay, that won't stop a horse from going in the gate.
Okay.
I'll tell you that point blank. I'll tell you that point blank. That would not stop a horse from loading. Absolutely not. Now, if it's first time start or whatever, you might have to coax it in, right? So there will be exceptions to this rule. First time starter, now seeing the crowd, maybe looking around a bit too much. But I'm talking about a seasoned horse, especially a horse that never gives trouble before. You have a horse that the last 10 races walked right in, stood up, and all of a sudden is giving trouble the next 3 or 4 starts. If you take a note of that horse, you probably won't see it for another 5 or 6 starts because there's something going on with us. He's going to break down. And if people are truthful, they'll say, yeah, my horse have a problem. I mean, my horse was sore, but like I said, I almost sound like the PETA people, I'm against horse racing. I'm not against horse racing. I just want the turf club as a whole to get that sorted out. It does not look good for American people, English, British, whatever. I only talk to American, to watch your races and it looks like that. I mean, it's a bad taste, especially when you're looking to build the sport. If you're looking to enhance your product, you'll think you'll do the necessary things to get it sorted out. I don't think they're doing it. I think I'm let me say that. But most Bayesians are excuse machines. You know what I mean? They're always having an excuse why we can or cannot. And like I said, I build huge buildings, and it gets to the excuses. You know what I mean? I'm going to sidetrack for a little bit, but when we build a high-rise building, you might build a 40-story, on every level, maybe have 10 units for this argument's sake, right? So you have 400 units. So you build it, you have all these pre-con meetings, so everybody's on the same page, we know where people are, who's doing what. But then once you start to build that shell, you're going to build a full unit, refrigerator, everything in it, to make sure all the components fit in and everything is functional. So I think horse racing is the same thing. If you want to grow your product, you make sure you have all those components in so you can have a functioning racetrack where you're not going to please all the people all the time, but you can make the unhappy happy while you keep the happy happy. So I think if they go down that road thinking, yeah, we want to be better, and that is your catalyst, then you'll be better. But if you just say, okay, that's how it is, then that's how it is. I mean, like I think we brought in, and I'm not harping on the turf club, it's just a fact. I think we brought in 5 horses, and years ago they used to give subsidies, and I said no, we're not giving subsidies this year, but it didn't stop us. We kept going. But if you get, let's say, even 5,000 back, that's 25,000. You can do something with that. But if they don't have the funds to do it, then they can't do it. But it didn't stop us. We kept rolling. But I am trying to, I don't know, not just me. I mean, there's other people. I have some other friends here. I got a friend in New York. He does the same thing too. He would give up his free time. I don't want Bayesians to think that, this guy just went to America for 2 mornings and he thinks he knows everything. You know what I mean? I don't want people to think that, because I know they'll think that. Any kind of suggestion is always met with some blowback, pushback, and all they do is dig their heels in. But, I was talking to I don't want to call his name, but I was talking to a trainer that went back and he had suggestions. He used to work at a gate years ago, and he said, "Hey, we can do this, we can do that." And gate crew, everyone was, you think you know everything, and that's usually the thing that happens in Barbados. Everybody say, "You think you know it all? You just went away, and now you this and that." But you see, I mean, if they have what 50 race days in Barbados, I mean, you have 50 race days here in 3 months. You know what I mean? So you see more horses running, opportunity to enhance your career or whatever. I mean, it's on a whole different level, and I think the track should be open. I mean, you just have to listen. You don't have to take every suggestion that I don't want to call us outsiders, but every suggestion that an overseas Barbadian have, you don't have to. You can you can pick the best and walk away. I mean, my friend in New York, he is trying to get a couple of jockeys down to Louisiana to ride, and he's doing that off his own steam. All his time and effort. He's not relying on anybody to do that. He's just doing that because he wants to help the kids grow. He's absolutely trying to help the kids. But we as Barbadians, we don't want take advice. You know, although what you have done or you have keep doing over the years is failing. You don't want to take good advice. I think that's the biggest problem with the racing on the whole. There's so many things that they can get people to volunteer to do some of the stuff that they can't pay to get done. There's a lot of retired people that would be glad to do some of the jobs. I'm not trying to take anybody's job away, but I'm saying that if someone has an idea and you think it's good, I mean, it doesn't have to take their idea. But I mean, this complaint has been going on forever. So I'm not the first person to toot a horn and say this and that, but the old guard, if you want to call them that, new guard, whatever guard they are, they're headstrong. They're going to do what they're going to do, and you play by their rules. And there's no anger or frustration in that. We'll play by their rules. That's fine, but try to create a better product. You know what I mean? You invest in companies that do research and development. I don't know how much they're doing there. I won't buy a stock in a company that doesn't have, a couple $100 million invested in doing research and development. Because, those are the companies that buy good stocks and have a good product. They do their homework. And same with the horses. I mean, I want the computer every night, and I always tell Sean, while the Beijing's are sleeping, I'm looking. I go through breathing, I go through this, I go through that. I do my due diligence because I want to have a good product. I don't want to go mediocre on anything. I remember when this thing first started, I was like, well, we can do that. Let's do this for 7. Let's do this for 10. And I was like, no, I'm not going the cheap route. I'll never have a cheap horse. We're not doing that. We're going to look for something that look really good. We'll spend the money. We'll do this. We'll get things done. And that's how I went down the road. And then we found some horses at a cheap price. And there's a big difference between a cheap horse and a good horse at a cheap price. So I think that's what we did. I think the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. So we'll see here in a couple of months, weeks. But we know we have at least one superstar. And, I was telling Sean, I said, when this horse landed, they're going to say we buy it in some cart road and we had some backdoor deal and that, and this is not the real deal. And I was like, man, let them talk, Mr. Hall, let them talk. I said, we'll let the horse do the running. You let them talk. And then after we won, people saying, oh my God, to give you guys a race, to write this race for you. They didn't write a race for us. They forgot the horse was 3 years old. So they wrote a race, and we got into it. And We knew she wasn't a sprinter, but we said, okay, let's go and get a paid workout, man. Let's go do it. Let's get a paid workout. And that's what we did. I mean, but I mean, I've been around for 40 years. Sean been around for 40 years. Or Paul has been around probably for 30. So collectively, that's 120 years of horse racing between the three of us. You know, then he has Nipperts been around. I mean, well, you know what I'm saying, Derek. I mean, that's a lot of knowledge, you know, and
Well, I'm
no one
learning from
steps
the
on anybody's
experts, right?
toes. Well, yeah, I mean, but that's a lot of horse knowledge, you know,
Yeah,
because
we had
it's not something that we're
Steve
going to see.
we had Steve Lim on the show, and he mentioned, he echoed some of the things that you, well, he didn't echo, he said it first before you came on the show, but he said the same things
Mhm.
that you basically said. And but one of the things that was that stood out to me was um the fact that he pointed out to Sean that like it's really tough to kind of get those guys who are running the track the way they're running it to change, because their thinking is that you're trying to take something away from them that kind of works for them. So is a little bit tough, but you know I guess we still got to
But
find a way to change it up or to tweak it a little bit, I guess.
is, isn't that what insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I think that's a definition of insanity, and I think that's what they do. You know, they do the same thing over and over and just spin their wheels. And from my days in the cart road, if you spin your wheels, you're just digging a hole. That's all you do. You got to have some traction. I think they
Correct.
have to have a game plan. I mean, I was talking to Mr. Hall, and you know, we knew that horse was a good horse, and we knew she's a distance horse. So you know, the conversation went down the road. Well, you know, they can start right in sprint races. And I said, all right, well, you need to find a sprinter. And then we said, okay, we got sprinter, we got this, but then let's tap into the Creole side. You know, it's like, so we have mirrors. So, I mean, we got all our bases. I mean, this is not something that we take lightly, or we're not going to invest every living ounce of our bodies to make this thing work. You know, we're definitely committed to it, and our due diligence, and we're gonna make sure this work. I mean, put a good product out there for the fans to see and everybody to enjoy. Like I said, I have people here that are willing to invest in the racing industry, but they will like to see at least a better template on what they have to work on, a better game plan of what they're seeing right now. I mean, it's sometimes embarrassing to even tell, you know, one of my acquaintances and say, hey, check this out, look at this, you know, because it's not a good product right now. And I'm not knocking anything. You know, I know I get a lot of blowback, and you know, Sean already, he's on the outside looking in, but
Not
we'll
saying
get
much,
through
by the
this.
way.
We got the product.
He's not saying much at all.
Pardon? Oh,
Sean is
I
not
know,
saying
I
much at
will.
all.
That's
I'm
the news for
absorbing
that
everything.
guy.
I'm absorbing everything he's saying, though. I mean, because these are things that everything he's saying, I've said ever since. So it's, you know, I just let him have his time, man. And coming from him might be different because he's on the outside looking in. You know what I mean? Sometimes people think that when you're
Right,
in on the
right.
inside, you're just being troubled. But I'm very happy to hear you guys tonight talking about things that you guys are on the outside and you don't like what you see, right? So
Right,
I'm
right.
absorbing and I'm smiling inside. I may not look like it, but I'm smiling. Thank
Well,
you
what Darwin
for.
just
That's
described
the
to
truth.
me
I
doesn't
mean,
sound like racing. It sounded like checkers.
well, we want to play some chess, buddy. We don't want to play checkers. We're done with the checkers. Suki King got that. We're playing chess now, you know? Yeah. It's all chess, man. But I mean, honestly, like people ask me all the time, it's like, well, you live there. Why don't you race there? This, that, whatever. I am. I always say it's like I have an interest. When I first
Darwin,
got to go to the track, yes,
Somebody just say you sounding like me. But
Hey, you should
that's
give
not
my
what you sound
number.
like me.
I
I think
look, like I said,
when you come from the outside, you know what I mean. These are things that we are accustomed to on the outside, and we want to bring some of that to where we live, or where as you want to invest your money now with horses and that kind of stuff. You just want to.
right.
There's nothing wrong with making things look better. It's the
Yeah,
yard.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
the
Linda
funny
Yard.
thing is the funny thing is when I would never complain if one of my horses get promoted. I'll never complain to get promoted. I'll never complain about the. I'll never complain about. Well, what I'm not even complaining. What I'm suggesting is that you guys do the basic stuff. Get your horses going into gates in order. Get the track in order, and then the rest of the stuff I can figure it out. I mean, it's like I don't need help out in any way. Like, okay, my horse didn't get dropped. Rah, rah, rah. No, I'm not that kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like horses got classified, whatever. I'm like, all right, bro. Horses. You know what I mean? I don't crawl about anything like that. I'm just saying that if you guys, I mean, Barbados is to chase everybody out of town. I've never seen them retain a good. I mean, the Smiths, they do have that. So let me retract that. But almost everybody else runs out of town. I mean, you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, what are we doing wrong? I mean, if I can't keep a customer for a project or two, I'm going to take myself to task and say, what happened, Darwin? What happened on that project? Like I have closeout meetings when I do a job, and I run the job all the way end of the job. We have a closeout meeting, and we go and we have some fact finding, and we have a coming to Jesus moment. What went wrong, what went right? You know, we made 40% on this job. Why are we not making 40% on every single job? Or we lost our butt on this job. What went wrong? And somebody has to write me a narrative saying, okay, this happened, that happened. It was a bad bid. You know, we had material price escalation. So we do a whole post-mortem. And I think the turf club within themselves need to do something similar. I'm not saying every race day you're going to sit down and say what went wrong, what this, but I'm like the commentator saying a mass every 2 seconds. Find something else in there to entertain your guests that are watching or streaming. You know what I mean? Have an interview. You know, go downstairs and interview a trainer or a jockey or something.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, you know, because
Or,
that's exactly what I'm talking about, man. I tune in because I know like it's a big day, and I know that okay, I want to support Sean. I want to see but I also want to see the other horses. I want to see the other trainers. I want to see the whole event and everything else. You know, I got my kid watching the TV. She's cheering for Sean. She's like, "Oh, that's Sean's horse," and she's cheering and all this stuff. But you know, all the other stuff that comes into it is kind of like it just felt kind of weird. You know, it's really weird. That's all I'm saying. The whole like
yeah,
it's not good. Sorry, but it's just you know. Anyways, I'm not going to criticize too much. It's just
yeah, I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers for the turf club, but I can safely say what they're doing is not working. You know, I can safely say that. I mean, they have my support. I mean, I support them. I mean, it's where I come from. But I think better can be done. I don't think it's a case where they're doing the best, they're doing everything. And like I say, you're not going to please every time. It's impossible. You know, but you get guys like over the years, you know, Charlie Heath would taking them to task almost every race there about something. You know, Richard Dean
He's not working.
complain. Everybody's going to
He's a
complain.
steward now. You know that?
Who is that? Charlie Heath?
Yeah.
Oh, no way, Holly. Really?
Two men that used to take them to task are now taking men
Oh,
like
my
to
God.
task when they go before them.
Well, you know, you can't win it. You know, you can't win a
So,
case
but
against him.
listen, if you can beat Charlie Heath, they couldn't
He
beat
never
Charlie
lost a
Heath.
case.
So anytime I go before Charlie Heath
No.
and Mark Garbage. What do you expect?
You're dead.
Not win
You
nothing.
can't. Yeah,
It's
you
just
can't
guys
win.
used to beat them all the time. So now they're working for the
See?
surf club now. That's how what here is.
Wow.
If you
I mean,
can't beat them,
that might be a good
you
thing.
join them, man. That's how it is. Simple.
So hey, when are you gonna sign up? When are you gonna join up? Because you know you can't beat them. This is like beating your head against a wall, buddy. You gotta join.
No.
You
Hey,
know what?
I'm out here in my corner.
No, the next time I go before
I
then,
want to talk to you two. You, Sean, Sean Hall, and Darwin Clarke, because like you guys are all part of like everyone mixed the industry, and it should not be no one against no the other, right? I feel at least that's my thinking. So why can't other people have a say in ways that or ways that can change things, direction and stuff like that? Because to be very honest, all you guys kind of work together or should be working together. There's no one against the other. This is an industry that
You know,
needs
it's
everyone in order to flow.
right. But you need constructive criticism. I was a jockey, and there was the Cave Hill posse. They used to call them a couple of postmen, Roddy, and these guys. Oh my God, would take me to task. But all they did was make me better. There was no gray area. I could not make a mistake there because these guys would take me to task day in and day out. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? You know what I mean? And you would have to have a reasonable explanation. And these guys weren't even writers. These guys were never writers. They were just adamant, passionate race fans. I mean, some of the best. I don't want to say that's too broad of a statement, but some very good, passionate race fans. And I was in that environment with them, and then I think Wardy kind of morphed his way into it too. But I mean, these guys would absolutely take us to task for bad rides, or questionable rides, but it made you better. There was nowhere to hide. So I think I don't want people to listen to me. I just want people to ask themselves whether they think in their heart if they're doing a good job and whether the results that they're getting is sufficient for them. You know what I mean? I don't want people to listen to me. Why will you listen to me? I mean,
But
I'm
I can tell you why. I will tell you why.
aficionado on horse racing.
No, you've just invested a lot of money into Barbados. You know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of people will want to, I don't know, because you're living in the United States. Why not invest money in the United States? Why do you choose Barbados?
Yeah.
First and foremost, because you're there. And secondly, I don't have an interest here.
I told I was leaving. I told I was leaving.
Right, right, but it was and so let me help you out. A friend of mine told me one day, he's like, "Why don't you just send a guy a check for 50 grand?" And I'm like, "No, he's a horse trainer, man. He's a horse trainer." I said, "He needs a horse, But the person is like, "Man, just send him some money. Let's call it good," because they were there with looking, researching. Hey, did you get one? No, this, that, because we spent 4 months to get Jockler, or 5. I mean, it was painstaking, calling back and forth. Yeah. We looked at her for a while. We looked at others.
From June.
I mean, we looked at so many horses. Yeah, we looked at so many horses, and they're all good horses, Sean. I mean, we end up going back and looking at some that we passed up on, but we knew we had the better one. We knew we were the best. But the interest is not here. Like when Rocco was here, I would go down to the track, watch him ride and stuff. The minute he was out tongue, I was like, "Well, I'm done with it. Not going back." It's just the interest and passion is not here. It's just
all right.
Not.
Stop
I prefer to turn my computer on.
I got a question for you. Something about pony. Did you take out a pony license at Emerald Downs?
No, owners, but not pony. No.
No,
No.
Rocco's telling me something with some pony, man.
Why? Oh my God, that guy. Forget that guy, man. Look, Sean. So
Come on, man. You got to hear with this because you might send a message, man.
I'll tell you what the
Tell me,
point.
ask you about this pony.
All right, so I was at Emerald one day. He was there, and this girl that had a pony, right? So I was like, "Hey, Rock, you want me to show you this trick?" Now, I used to do it back in the day. You know, you face the head of the horse, right? You swing your legs up, cross legs in midair, and you face the hind, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was like, "Let me show you this trick, Rock." But I'm big and fat, so I go back. I kick my legs out. Somehow, that crossing of the legs did not happen. Sean, I came down next side of the pony. You would think like a tower collapse, man. It was like boom. I end up on the ground. I busted up my elbow. And Rocco is laughing his butt off. This guy is dying. This freaking guy.
Rocco just
But
messing with you, man.
Yeah, that's his pony. That's his pony joke with me, man. I mean, even the pony girl, and the pony's looking at me like, "What is wrong with you, dude?" The pony's looking at me, like, "Oh my God." Yeah. So yeah, that's the pony. That's the pony story from Emerald. But yeah, I don't have
I
I
know
don't
I
have
have to
any
do it
interest
because he
in
messaged it.
Yeah, it was a good. He has a good laugh about it, man. He had a good laugh. But, yeah, that was my boy. He's the one that really got the fire going again. You know, I was done, not going to Emerald anymore, and then he picked up, and but you know he got really good, really fast, and won those 3 championships. I mean, he broke all kind of records and stuff. And once he was out of town, I would never go back. You know, and just no interest. I don't know why. I mean, I can't put my finger on it, but I prefer to fire my computer up and watch Barbados races. You know?
So you got a
I,
love for home. You got a love for home. I get the
do,
feeling
and
there's
look,
more excitement.
what is? I mean, put aside the excitement, put aside all that. You know, I think Sean has about 5 people now working for him, and I mean, it's going to grow, and that's basically what I want to do. You know, if I can help even one person back there, you know, ask people to do shit for free. Sean will tell you that. I mean, I think if you pay an American trainer X amount a day, you should pay your Bajan trainer X amount a day. You know, no trainer in Barbados should be working for commission only. You know what I mean? I was working for one guy. He would pay me $40 a week, and I had to pay the jockey out of that. So I was making $20 a horse. You know, as a trainer.
And we couldn't pay rent. You remember that?
Yeah,
we couldn't pay rent out of that money,
right, bro. So I know I know how it is to be a trainer, and you're suffering, man. And I don't want, you know, my trainer would never suffer. You know, I would shut it down first. It never suffer. So good wage for a good day's work. You know, I believe in that. Everybody should be taken care of. You know, that's the only. I don't want to go political, but that's the only trickle down of economics I like. You know, I can't say that too loud. My wife is Republican, so she might hear me. She's not a Trumper though, but she's definitely Republican. But yeah, that's the only trickle down effect that I'm looking for right there. But you have to pay the guys, man. Those guys put in the work. They're the closest to the money. You know, you get good help. You pay them, and let them do their thing. I mean, your job is just to supply that cash flow and let everything keep rolling, and they can do their thing. You know, I don't get involved in. There's certain things I like. I like clean stall, fan, just basic stuff. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's like, here's the range. You go do your thing, man. Bring me back some money. That's about it. And like the same pony guy, I used to tell him all the time. You know, no matter what, we're gonna still eat. You tell the pony I said that. I was probably listening. He knows that. That's my instructions. No matter what, we're gonna still eat. No matter what the hell happened, we still eating, man. We still out there. We're still eat. We're gonna have fun. Yeah, good times. Like,
Would you, if you
Sean
had a
called me.
chance
He's like,
to,
"Oh, what do you think?"
if you had a chance to have a say in how things are done with the race industry in Barbados, if you had a chance to step on board, uh, would you step on board? Would you be part of it? What would that be?
I mean, that would be absolutely an honor to do something like that. But I mean, any capacity I can help in. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. But I'm a very fair person. Like my boy there would tell you. My guy, I don't want to call him a boy. I'm sorry. My guy would tell you. He would say, we got two horses in. This one broke down. I said, I don't want to hear that, man. I want all of them to be sound so we can beat them down. I don't want to hear another guy's horse went to the side because he invested his stuff. He's doing his thing. He needs to be performing. I don't like to hear that. So I'm not a person that's going to hope and pray that I can beat someone because 100%. How I want to beat them is that I want to outthink them, outpurchase them, outbreed them, and that's how I'm going to beat them. I don't want to beat you because you're not 100%, because then I don't feel good. I don't feel, you know, I deserve it if I beat you and you're down. I want everybody to be healthy and let's go. Let's go see who's the better horse, who's the better man. So, like, Hawley called me after the race and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "This is what I think. Two starts, a first and a second. I'm good. What's next? No postmortem, no this, no that, no nothing. Same with the rider. What do you think?" I said, "Boy, everybody's healthy. You know, trainer told me the horse ate up. Everything's good." I said, "We're good. We're just looking for what's next." I think the next thing was look at whether she got promoted or not, and she did get promoted. So now we're back for a race. But yeah, I don't carry those ill feelings with other people's horses. I don't try to I don't try to wish bad for other people and stuff like that. I want everybody to be sound and fit, and let's go. Whatever happens, happens. You know, because like I said, no matter what, we're going to still eat. The show is going to keep going. I told Sean, it's like there's no money that my horse is making Barbados is leaving Barbados. That will be staying there to do whatever we want to do, whether we want to invest in something else or whatever. But it's not coming back this way. So I'm there just for the fun of it, and let's have a good time.
I like the fact that also that Sean mentioned. I like the fact that if you're investing so much money into the industry, you're also providing jobs for some people. And is keeping some families alive. So that itself, you should be commended for that. And maybe perhaps
Yeah,
some other guys like you do the same
that's
thing.
yeah. Well, that's rewarding for me. And bear in mind, we have another partner too. We have Paul is out there. He's doing the same thing, and then Vernon, and his Paul. There's other people too. But I mean, people will say I'm the spearhead or I'm the guy, but I don't want to be the guy, man. When the stuff goes sideways, then everybody's coming for me for answers.
No, but I
But
think what they have,
yeah,
I call, is that what happened is that what you're doing and have other people coming in on board, it's really special to the industry. I think I'm hoping that they would kind of get other people thinking the same way, coming back home, investing in horse racing here, and what I mean, as you said, you need to fix a few things, but you really want to
right.
get people like yourself. We're mid 50s now, you know what I mean, and
I'm not
Like
that
for
old, dude.
example,
I'm like 45.
pardon me?
I said I'm not that old. I'm like 45. I'm joking, man. You know how old I am. Yeah, I'm 55. Mid 50s. Come on, man.
Right? You know when a guy is old when he thinks 45 is young.
Oh yeah, but yeah, but
No,
yeah.
but
I
I
mean,
think it's
if
very,
they can, I'm.
I think it's very important though
Yeah,
that
John.
I'm very happy with what you're doing. It should hopefully get other people thinking the same way that well, you're this age, you're coming back home. You know what I mean? Get especially those people who really are horse racing people, horse racing fans. And I think it's a really, I don't know, man. I had enough of Barbados. That's the truth. I was willing to leave, but after I spoke to you, you sold me on what you plan to do, man. You know what I mean? And I said, well, I got to be part of this. You know what I mean? I had other things I could have done
Well,
in
I mean,
Canada. I have a lot of friends up there, but what you, what your plans are, is kind of real huge for Barbados standards, and I'm home here ready, and I have no plan to stay in a battle with this, and I commend you for it.
well, we got two more on deck. As you know. I mean, we don't do anything unless you're involved. So
Yeah,
you know what's happening there. So
yeah, that's
I
true. But I
mean, like I
mean,
said, who in dead, badly wounded. I'm telling
no,
you,
but
man. I
what
mean, if
look, what you and Paul are doing, and even Vernon also. I mean, you guys live in the United States of America, and it's so easy for you guys to invest your money up there. You don't have to come down here to Barbados.
yeah,
I mean, even when you were telling me about the sort of money you were spending, I started feeling bad because like, damn man, all this, you know what I mean, on a horse coming out. But he started telling me every year this is what it's going to be, and then other people start coming in,
yep.
and now we got three guys in
Hey,
the United States who
we are
are
ahead of
investing in
we are
horses here. And
ahead of plan right now.
pardon me?
Go ahead, Sean. I was just
No,
saying we are ahead of plan.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
But this is what you guys are doing is really special. It's different. I hope the race fans here in Barbados appreciate what you guys are doing, and hopefully, well, we've done good so far. The horses have
yeah.
done well, and we can't complain. I expect that to continue.
No. Yeah, I expect to see more fireworks. We know that where we're at is not where we're going to be. That's for sure. Because that filly is a super filly. She's good. I mean, we haven't seen the best of her,
No,
and she's only 4. I mean, like midsummer, fall this year. When she really develop, I think she's going to be a nice horse. And I think the main thing is just keeping her sound. I mean, as long as she stays sound, we're in good shape, man.
but so far so
We're on
good.
it.
I
And
mean,
that said, yeah, the
So
rockets. I don't want to use that term, but yeah, we have others on deck. So
yeah, yeah.
how long does the meet last for, Sean? When is the end?
I think it's May from what I see there, but
yeah,
I don't really know that if it goes straight into second
right.
season.
You
I
don't
don't I
really
don't
know.
know.
You
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I mean, when I look at the dates, there's no like real plan. And like, let's say I had a client that wanted to come see, and I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think if they get that fixed, that will help an overseas client if they had a horse there. They can say, I want to go see my horse in July. You call the trainer up and say, hey, is there a program out? How soon the program will come out so they can plan their travel plans to coincide with that horse running. But I mean, like I said, you don't even know what's coming up April 9th. That's less than a month. You know, if Paul wanted to go see his horse run, he's like, I don't know if she's going to be in because there's nothing. I mean, I can go on any racetrack website and go look at the condition book and see tons of races, possibilities that a horse could run in. I mean, they can adopt that same type of process and say, okay, well, and they use the word provisional all the time. So here's a provisional program for the next 4 race days. And you can change that based on your horse population, based on horses promoting, demoting, whatever. You can change that. But at least you have a trainer you can work with. But right now you have no future plans for any horse in Barbados. You're just sitting on your thumbs thinking, okay, well, I hope April 9th we have a race. Or I hope, you know what I mean? That is not, I don't want to say right or fair because I'm acting like, like a child, but that's not good business. That's absolutely not good business when you don't have a plan. You know, to fast forward that into my world, I am bidding on projects that start in 2024. Budgeting projects that start in 2024. This is 2022 right now. So 2 years down the road, there's some guys telling me he's building a high-rise in Bellevue and needs a proposal. And he expects me to get that proposal 2 years before his building comes out the ground. But, Barbados, they can't see 3 weeks ahead, and I think that's a big problem.
Is that a pandemic thing, or that's just is that normal, or just because of pandemic?
That's absolutely normal. The only pandemic thing is that you would have to factor in some price escalation on probably labor rates. But I mean that is absolutely normal, because bear in mind, I don't want to get into the construction thing, but you have to go through the permit process, material acquisitions, funding. There's years of preliminary stuff that you have to do before you build a building of that size. And then, but we're in at the ground floor. We'll design the building. I'm not an architect, but you help design the building and tell the owner, okay, it's going to cost you $1 square foot to get this done. And then he will take that to the bank, and as the years go by, then 2020, then you're there and you start building the building. But you're in horse racing in Barbados, and you don't even have a 3 week look ahead. What's coming up in 3 weeks or what's coming up in a month? I mean, that's a problem. That's a big issue. And I mean, it doesn't take any money to do that. Whoever is writing the races, I mean, entries is next Wednesday, and that program is not out yet. So if you had a horse that is likely to go in a race on the 26th, a better race comes up, 2 weeks later, then you can say, well, I'm not going on the 26th. But if you don't have that template, then you're going to enter. You're going to run have to, and however you run, however you have to, because they're not forward thinkers. I want to say. I don't mean to disrespect anybody by saying that, but that's what you lead me to believe, that you're not thinking that way. You're not looking at the big picture, But it was always that way with a turf club. It's like, hey,
I'm sure that's going to change. I mean, there was when we had guests on the show, we had Steve Lim, and he said like persons like Mark Cassie, because of they bring so much horses to the track, the influence that they have, things start to change just a little bit. And you gotta pay attention to those guys who are trying to do better, and guys who are trying to bring more value and substance to the racing. So maybe I think that would happen.
I'm going to respectfully disagree. I've been there, like I said, I've been in this Barbados thing for 40 years, and I have not seen a lot of change. You know what I mean? Up here we say if you don't change, you will be the change. But I don't think that Bo is the same for Barbados. They'll dig their heels in to do what they want to do. So we're gonna just work around what they give us and just do our thing. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. That's from my view. Just work with what they give us, because I do not see the change. I'm not a negative person or a pessimistic person. I'm pretty optimistic, I think, but I'm dealing with the Barbados Turf Club, so I absolutely think that nothing is going to change. The same old thing. I mean, we can come back and have this show in a year or two, and I don't think anything would change. And I'm thinking
Well,
it's not
let's
a
keep our
price
fingers
point. It's
crossed
not. It's
that
not a
things do
constant.
change.
Yeah, but don't hold your breath. But yeah, it's not. It's not a price. I mean, like you don't need money to change the way the horse is going to gate. You don't need money to change the way the provisional program comes out. Those are administration things. Admin should be doing that. This should be on top of that. Give the owners and trainers to look ahead. This is what you guys can plan for. And it's subject to change without notice. That's fine, but at least you have some type of working template. You can say, okay, well, this is what I think we have, and we can work towards that. But when you don't have anything, I just think, yeah, they need to get off the thumbs and do some stuff. I don't care what backlash I get from that, from saying that. I really don't care. Like I said, I'm in my hole. There's a guy up there. If Sean is going to get the backlash, I mean, there's only a few people in Barbados have my number, so I could almost talk any kind of shit I want. It's
That's right,
Hall to
because
get the
remember,
backlash.
remember, you're the ghost. Nobody can find
You
anything
can't.
about you at all, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm like Winston Hall. You can't find me, buddy. I'm lost. I'm up, I'm up here in my hole. The fact of the matter is, there's a lot of people in Barbados think I live in Washington D.C. They're like, "Oh yeah, he live in Washington," but I'm like, "No,
No,
man, you come another 2,300 miles." Go ahead, Sean.
no, I have no problem with you saying what you have to say because you've now invested a lot of money down here, and I think you should have a say on what you think is right or what is
Yeah, I
wrong.
see. I don't agree with that. Weather is a little bit none whatever. I mean, it's just my opinion. I don't expect anybody to listen to me. Why would they? I mean, you know what I
True.
mean? It's like, yeah, I don't expect that. I mean, that's not what I'm here for. To say, hey, I did this. Listen to me. No, I don't want anybody to do me any favors. I never have. I never asked for a favor from the Barbados Turf Club on any level. I mean, I was just a jockey. I should start with groom. I had a groom license. I was a glamorous groom, a jockey, a trainer, owner. So I mean, I've never asked for any favor. I don't want anybody to listen to me on anything. I just want them to get our thumbs into what I think they need to do race in Barbados. I mean, it's nothing to do with me. Like I said, I got people here that would invest, but it's hard to invest when they're seeing almost like a freak show. And I know some Barbados can say, well, if they don't want to invest, don't invest. You go, blah, blah, blah. That's what they do. And that's fine. I mean, it's their party. We just want to be a little part of it, I guess.
Now, a question for you. So, is the Garrison Savannah, is that private property?
Government or the
Sean would be
garrison,
better to answer that than me. Yeah.
and,
I think they
and they're
lease it or
renting
something
for
like
the
that.
government, the lease or rent or whatever.
Yeah.
I think at least some lease, long term lease. But
Is
that's
there,
why no,
I was
that's
going to
why
say,
you
Sean,
see
to you. Go ahead,
no
Sean.
like
You say what you got to say.
you see like when every time they used to have the parades in November, we could never have races around that time when the government had the parade down there. So we always had to, or I should not say me, the garrison, the turf club always have to wait and see what if there's going to be a parade or not. And you know, so anytime they come and say we need it, We always got to hold a race day, different day.
So is there a time where we can get that answer like completely to see how that is performed? Because when I was growing up in Barbados, there was always I think nobody seems to know exactly anything. So I'm just wondering, is there going to be a time when someone is going to know what's the
No, for
truth,
sure,
or what's
yeah.
real?
Well, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
somebody to know where the bodies are. I don't think Sean and I are pre that. So it would have to be one of the old guards who would probably know more than that. I really don't know. My 40 years did not allow me to access that kind of information, but I think it's rent, long term lease rent, whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I don't think horse racing is going anywhere. I mean, when I left 20 something years ago, I thought they were dead. I think Sean left one year. I think he thought it was dead. I mean, they always seem to bounce back. Always seem to bounce back, and but they don't bounce back better. It always seems that there's slight deterioration all the time. I don't know, is that because good people are leaving? I really don't know. I mean, it's good to see some of the old people are still there. When I say old, I say older because Sean pointed out I'm old. So the older guys are there, like Vera Davis and stuff. My concern is who's going to pick that torch up, you know, when Davis decides, you know, he had enough. I mean, we had Lord Taylor for a while, and he had a lot of horses, and I don't think we found a replacement for him. And then, so Charles William passed away. We don't have a replacement for him. And you're going to see more and more people, you know, due to life courses, you know, they're going to pass away. And we need people to fill those shoes to keep the horse population strong. I mean, there's a lot of smaller people there with horses that I mean some names that I don't recognize, but we need to get more people in the industry, more people to own horses and own pretty good horses. I see horses getting beat by a furlong and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, why is that horse running? If it's getting beat that bad, you know, the stewards should have a discussion with you. And I mean, there's no drop is going to help that horse. But I mean, invest in a different horse. You know, go buy something better. But I know the way Bajans think. They think, oh, you know, the jockey rode a bad race and get beat by a mile. I don't think there's any bad jockeys and get your horse beaten by a mile. But some people seem to think that, you know, or something miraculous happened. Every race there's a different excuse. But,
I
I think if those people could buy a better horse, you know what I mean, and run it because we need the population to stay where it's at or get better. I think somebody was telling me that we had like what 80 something mares or something like that, and a lot of stallions. I mean, I look at some of the blood in Barbados, and I'm like, oh my God, Barbados has some of the best bred grass horses anywhere in the world. But I don't think the broodmare ban. Yeah, I swear to God, the broodmare, the stallions there, that roster. Oh my God, they're so good. But I don't think they have the broodmares to complement the lions. So hopefully that's something that Mr. Hall can do to improve breeding. There, I mean, he has some good fillies or mares under his care right now, so that would improve the breeding. But I think when people, you know, buy horses in the U.S., they need to take a good, long, hard look at the grass pedigree and make sure that the horses are true grass horses and not just a horse that runs on the grass. You know, look
Right.
for some strong breed. I mean, there's a horse called Vividly. She's by Charm Spirit out of Danzeli Mare. And I mean, she is absolutely bred in the purple. Now, I'm sure if this horse was a stallion in Barbados, her pedigree would stand out, but she's a mare. and at some point she's there and she's going to have some babies, and man, the excitement is over the moon because that is absolutely, I don't want to say necessarily bread and purple, but very close. I think she will be the best mare in Barbados for time to come. And then Sean has some mares that are really well bred, and when they go to the breeding shed, that they'll improve that Creole band. It will get it back to the. This is just my opinion, but to the Nosferatu era where we were producing top class Creoles. And I mean, and I think the thing is in the breeding, you don't want to look for a stallion to improve your mare. You're looking for a mare that can stand on her own, well enough bred that she can produce a nice horse, excuse me, any stallion, you know, as opposed to look for a
Then there,
stallion that's going to
hen.
improve your mare. Yeah, but
Correct.
I think Holly has a lot under his care right now. Someday they'll go and have some babies, and that's going to be a whole new set of trouble. Man. I think that might warn off that guy. And I predict in 3 years if he stick around.
It sounds to me like you thought long and hard about this, and you really want to contribute to the industry in Barbados.
I do. I every night. I over there in my office area where we started this conversation. I absolutely I nick all these horses, man. I spend nights and nights. I nick all these horses. Then the same horse I'm telling you about vividly. She is like I said, she's my charm spirit out of a Danzeli mare. On top, she has Danny in the fourth generation. And then David Seal has a stallion called Not This Time, or Sean, correct me if I'm calling that horse right, but those two are perfect nicks to have Dan Hill in the fourth line. Not This Time, or not This Time Boss, or something like
No,
that.
not
He's
again, or
by
it's no, not again, or something. So I think
no,
no, not
no,
again.
not again. Yeah.
That,
Yeah, that's the horse. But I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I can't wait to see you put her under him, man. Is yeah. So that's what I do, Derek. I would sit down and go through all the breeding and write it out. I got some graph paper and I have my ruler and going all the generations back. I mean, I think Sean has what, three mirrors that has Rahi on the bottom side, and that good Roberta line, got the Danzig line. I mean, yeah, we don't do this stuff for fun. This is not fun. This is a business on a whole, is a whole different level. Yeah. I remember
That, that,
Senator Amy Phillips, another influence. Go ahead.
no, I was
I
saying
would
that's
say another
beautiful to
influence
hear,
in my
man.
life. Yeah, Amy Phillips. He told me he wanted to breed a Creole to win the Gold Cup. And I thought it was a lofty ambition, but then, we saw Federico went into Gold Cup, went into Coolmore in the Gold Cup. So it's possible we can breed, and we have bred great horses in Barbados. So,
Yeah, and Citatus, don't forget
everything is there in
Citatus.
place. It's just, yep, Incitatus, yep. And
So
the
all,
French guy,
Mhm.
go ahead, Derek. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
No, I was just chiming. I was going to say something, but I was going to say, all that being said, are we going to see the next headlines and the next big race, or I'm just throwing things out there for the people who write the races and stuff like that. Are we going to see the headliners Queen of Pitons and versus
Yeah, Queen of
Jocular?
Pitons.
Are we gonna see this, or what's
Hey,
what's
we're
it gonna
ready.
be?
We're ready. Ready. We're ready. Anybody. Just bring them. That will give the fans so much to look forward to. know, as a little boy growing up, I remember when Concordia Hero came into Barbados. I was at the airport. When Benton came in, I was at the airport. So those things give the race fans a certain buzz. They give them something to wake up to. You have a new quote unquote good horse coming in, you know. So I think Mr. Hall is creating that kind of stir. I think he is. Yeah, with some nice, classy horses. I think he's doing that. I
I
think he's
think
going to
after how
continue
she
to do
ran,
that.
yeah, but after how she ran Saturday, that's when no people know. I think really think that she's a good horse. I didn't think they
Yeah.
thought that much of her going into the race, but she's gained some fans now. But that's
Yeah, and
Barbadian public. I mean, it's still a
well,
small
they're
stable.
badly missing. I mean, yeah, but still, I mean, if you have quality, you have quality. I mean,
Mhm.
I think if we keep injecting quality, you might be small, but you're going to be deadly sure. I mean,
Yeah,
I think and I think the best is yet to come with her, and then what we have on deck. I mean, if this one turns out to be anything, it's going to be a good ride, my friend. It's going to be a great ride. So
yeah.
just got to keep our
I
fingers
think
crossed.
her speed bars were even better than Jockler's, eh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, you
And
know
if
what I
we
would
can
love to
let
see.
her
I would
keep
love
her
to see.
sound, I mean,
I'm sorry. I said I would love to see everything that we were saying here in terms of putting on a good show and all that, uh, and for just that matchup again, those two horses. I would love to see the people on the inside. I'd love to see the people in the stands. I would love just to see like a good story about Jacques Hilaire and where she started. I would love to see the Queen of Pitons and then to bring in the St. Lucian connection. I would love to see the Superman chess and how this horse is a super horse. And I would love just to see them two horses in a race next time, man. It would bring so much excitement to horse racing.
eh,
You sound
hey,
excited. You're
Derek,
in
I
Canada,
don't
man.
think
I like Sean. I love stories, man. I love stories.
imagine the public, you know, because Jockler is going to have her fans and Queen of Piton and hopefully Bodap as well. He'll be back and shared adventure. Who are you just come and I want to show. I
Share
mean, that's what it's
adventure. We
all
get share
about.
adventure from.
You need to keep those fans and something adventure. He was in that race,
Oh,
wasn't it?
inspired adventure. Inspired adventure. Yeah,
Inspired. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Inspired offender. Yeah. Yeah. But I
They're
got
all
shared
adventures.
adventure. I mean,
Same owner. Same owner.
okay. Belief is yeah.
David Murray
Anyway,
got all the adventures, man.
okay. So that's my boy there, man. You got to tell him I said hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
I was looking at some
Salute.
pictures the other. I came across a picture with him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We used to um we used to eat sauce every Saturday. He had a sauce woman somewhere up in St. Philip, I think, cooked some really good sauce, man. And we used
Okay.
to tear that up. Absolutely
that
tear that
that
up, man.
that
Yeah.
wasn't
Oh
when
yeah.
you was a jockey,
He's
right?
no, I was training then. Yeah, I was training then. But yeah, good person. I think he's. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's the vice president now, right, Sean, of the Turf
That's
Club?
what I was just about to tell you that he's the vice president. So I don't know. He
Yeah.
would the news will get back to him, obviously. So you could give him a call.
Yeah, I can't afford that phone bill, man. I can't afford.
I
Ah,
just saw
Sean,
John Mark
uh,
Porter said that the other horse
I
to watch
think
is the horse that won belongs to Atkinsons. Can't even get the name pronounced. The horse that
the
came
one-
from
the one that came in with us.
yes, that's right. She won Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
So more likely she'll be stepping up
Very
in
good.
class
Yeah.
next time.
I hope all those horses do well, man. Like I said, I want every person, horse in Barbados, to say sound, good, all is well. And we kind of put on a show for the public, put on a show for the fans. That's what it's all about. I know Barbados fans, best fans. There's no other racetrack that I can see that passionate. I mean,
Mhm.
guys argue. I mean, people think they're about to fight and stuff like that over horse racing, like they own them, and it's just absolutely. I mean, fanatics to
Yeah,
the highest caliber. They're awesome.
yeah,
It's absolutely awesome. And if you can entertain them and keep them happy and have some good racing, man. But I think Turf Club needs to step up and do what they can do. And I mean, nobody's asking them to paint the sky red or do anything outside the box, but just take care of what you have and put a good product out there. It'll be all
You know,
right.
one thing I noticed from looking back at the old races, um, when you rode
Yeah.
Don One, I was looking at the trees, and I realized how flush the trees were back then compared to now. Like, is just beautiful
Out
to
flush.
watch.
we had a few
Flush
hurricanes. We
trees
lost,
are
we
like
lost a
so
lot.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
but the hurricanes lost a
Oh,
lot of trees to the
they
hurricanes,
knocked
man.
him down. Oh,
Some of
okay.
them fell down. They were flattened.
are they replanting those trees, Sean? They're replanting.
I saw a few. Yeah, they have replanted a few trees. Yes, they have. That's one thing I could say. But those trees take a long time to get back to that mature look.
Yeah.
But
That's
they lost a few trees, man. We
yeah,
don't get. We had about two hurricanes,
absolutely need.
and those trees are like 100 years old. They can't take
Some of those
or it might be older.
100 years old. So
Yeah, yeah, correct,
Hmm.
correct.
Wow.
I think you're breaking up a little bit, Holly.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah, I sincerely hope everybody in Barbados is well and doing well, and all is good, and prepare for some licks.
Are you talking about
Oh,
the owners and the
it's a
trainers?
fun ride. I mean, yes, exactly. I don't mean physical. Yeah,
Oh
there's a
man.
lot of licks coming
Um,
in
that
the
was
next
funny.
next couple of years.
I gotta ask you before you
Well,
before
I
you
think I'm
go.
putting them on.
So are you happy right now in what you see? Well, we talked about that, but are you happy in your state of mind, transitioning from what you were doing like way back then till now? I know it's been a while, but are you cool and you want to jump right into the industry in Barbados and you want to help and you want to promote are you happy?
I'm not happy because I haven't seen any growth. I mean, I think I left there 26 years ago, 25 years ago. I have not seen any growth at all. I mean, someone would have to enlighten me, point me in the right direction, say, okay, this is how we've grown. Oh, the lights. I mean, but I don't even know if that's a positive because the rumors I'm hearing, you spend $5 million on lights and you have no way of recovering that money. I mean, how can you recover $5 million in the industry that I don't know? You're probably making what, $1 million a year? I don't know. I don't know the numbers.
It's four
I
million dollars.
mean,
Four
it's
million dollars less cost, not five. Four.
yeah, but four. I mean, whatever. But I'm thinking if I'm going to invest $4 million, see at least somewhere so how I'm going to recruit my money, how I'm going to get my money back. So if you're just investing as a fund venture, then that's fine. You're not looking to recoup any money, but I think again, I don't want to contradict myself and say it's a good investment, but it's a lot of money. I'll put it this way: the juice is not worth the squeeze. Put it that way.
Well, uh,
Juice is not worth the squeeze. I gotta remember that one.
No, it's It's not. It's not. Oh, I got some wonder, Sean. You would die with them, man. But it definitely is not. I mean, come on, you spend $4 million on a project. How are you going to get a return on your investment?
no, I
I
don't
mean, I
know,
would
but
like someone in the club to.
I can tell you something though. I think I've mentioned this to someone before, and probably me and Sean, we probably had these conversations before too. But uh, you know, you know, I'm thinking Barbados Turf Club. They run the operation at the Garrison Savannah. Um uh, what do you need or what do you do to be a member of the club in order to have an influence or to have some kind of say? Can you do that? Is it invited only or is it you buy
Uh,
your way in? How do you do those things?
Okay,
Is there a
I
way
eight
that
think
you
hundred
can
dollars,
get in
eight
there?
hundred dollars.
right. You could be a member, but I don't think do you vote in power and do other people vote in blocks? I mean, there's a lot of. I don't think. Let's say 10 you guys go in and vote. I don't think the change. I don't know. I'm talking out my butt right now because I don't know, and I don't like to. I don't know, but I don't think being a member is going to change anything. I think there's still three or four decision makers. I could be wrong, but yeah, I
Directors. We
don't
have
think the
to have directors.
membership. Right, right. We have directors, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I've never been involved in that level on that level, and honestly, from where I sit, I I don't think I will. I mean, I would try to help any way I can, but as far as the direction of the club and stuff like that, there's still a lot of top heavy management is the right word, I think. Um, I don't think a lot of people listen to the normal guys in the street like me. I don't think a lot of people are willing to change. I mean, I have a friend that has some ideas on income generating things, and I think he's going to run that by the upper management and stuff, and maybe that would help. But that's just on a financial level. But to deal with it on a holistic level, I mean, my basic thing is just the way the provisional program comes out, the track, um, stuff like that. Nothing to do with the financial side of the track. I, I, I shouldn't say I couldn't care less because I do care, but my main thing is those horses in the gates and the condition of the track. I mean, fix those, and I could probably get a couple more clients for the turf club. You know, that's my biggest complaint from people that I get to watch races.
Now, I want to be clear
And they're
that by talking
absolutely
this kind of stuff, I want to be clear that by talking this kind of stuff, that the intention is not to bash the club, right? The intention really is how you can improve or
no.
suggestions to improve.
Right, the suggestions to improve. I think. I mean, I don't even think it was that. Sean just said, "Hey, come tell me about your journey." I don't know. I don't even know how we got down this road dealing with the turf club because that in my
Part of
40
the journey,
years is
though.
a no-win situation. Yeah, it is. But I
I,
mean, it's like you draw a line through that. You know what I mean?
I think Sean is right. You know, like this is part of your journey. I mean, for younger writers, for people in the industry, they can like people might have known you as a jockey and probably think that you will be a jockey until you're done, until you call it quits. But you've
Until
evolved
yeah,
and you've grown, right?
yeah. But the people, I'm a broad brush here. People in Barbados, they don't like change, man. They just don't. It's like, and even if it's incremental, they just don't like change. They want to do the same thing over and over and over. And that's what I've witnessed over 40 years. Is like they don't like change.
You know, you're absolutely
So I
correct
mean,
because I was talking to some friends of mine from years ago. I mean, this is going back over 30 years ago, man. And I mean, I'm talking to people who still see. I mean, this is people who've grown 20 years, over 30 years, and people still see the same person that they saw that didn't make high school, and they think that that person still is that kind of person. They don't realize that that
Right.
person has so much experience after 16 or 14 or 12 or whatever age it is when you pass out high school, right? They still think that
Correct.
people are still in that same level. After so many years of growing and experiencing, they think that a person who didn't pass their common entrance is still a dummy, as they would say. And I think that's
Yeah. Oh
ridiculous.
yeah. Oh
No?
yeah. Derek, some of them are, which is really disappointing that they haven't grown. They have not. I mean, it's like, what have you done in the last 10 years? I always tell Rocco, it's like things don't stay the same. They either deteriorate or they get better. They never stay the same. Because he would always tell me, everything the same. I'm like, no. It's either you're trying to get better every day or you're going to rate. You need to get better every day. And I think he grabbed onto that as a writer, and he looks for ways to improve day in, day out. Not, oh, I'm good here, everything is the same. And I mean, even a tree that lives for hundreds of years, it doesn't stay the same. It's either getting young, getting to the peak, or it's downhill. It's time for that tree to go bye bye. So it's never the
Now we
same.
talk
But I
about
think I can safely say the turf club.
I was gonna say we talk a lot about Rocco on this show, but I really want to.
Mhm.
I like Rocco. He's very charming. He definitely is a charming kind of guy. He probably sleeping by now because Penny probably got him tucked in bed. Get to bed, but
He's not here,
you
Yeah,
man.
know,
he's in Barbados. He's in Barbados.
oh, he's in
He's in
Barbados.
Barbados, Derek.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah,
still
My
here,
bad,
man.
man.
yeah. So a quick note on that. A quick note on that. Like the Jonathan and Rock was there, and people are like giving him a hard time. It's like, why would you do? Why would you do that? And I'm thinking, this guy wanted to go. He's there. He's gonna ride a horse. I mean, what is your problem? What I mean? This guy makes decisions for himself. What your problem? People again about being home and write stuff like that, and sad that they just say, hey man, home this that whatever, and welcome the guy with open arms instead of push back on the how, the why, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying it because he for Sean or whatever, but he had the option. He could have stayed here, finish up Tampa, or go ride a horse for Sean, and he chose to go ride a horse for Sean. But it's just part of Barbados society that it's so hard to comprehend that why is this person doing that, or why is this person doing that. I think I heard as a little boy, if you see a guy fishing in a pond, he normally knows what he's doing. So leave him alone. If he wants to come back to ride a horse, he has that option. He's Barbadian, and he's going home. He's going to spend some time with his family, and we were hoping he was going to win the race, but came up a little short. But no love lost on any end. He's going to finish out his vacation there and then head north again. But it's just size of my people that I really can't explain. That they wouldn't think that was a good thing or a big thing for racing on the whole. That a rider would leave, a real successful career, successful meet, to take a break to come to ride a horse for a local guy.
Oh, I mean, uh, that one is deep because decisions got to be made, and Barbados is still home, and I'm pretty sure he'll probably get some seawater and heal some bruises and get to go again.
Yep.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
He
You
said
need a
it
vacation here
was
and there. How's that?
yeah, you do. I mean, he writes hard. He writes hard. He writes all over the place. I mean, he's a nomad. He's Pennsylvania today, New York, Illinois. He's all over the place. So at least now for 3 weeks, one spot. He's not moving. But a talented
I
writer, very
I
talented
know
writer.
you said that when Rocco left Emerald, you kind of you didn't really have that kind of feeling to go to the track. Is there any other jockey in those parts that you connect with, or any other writer anywhere else in the U.S. that you connect with, that you have a good relationship with?
Um, I want to say off the top of my head, no. I mean, a good friend of mine, a guy in New York, he's pretty close to Jalone Samuels, but I'm not. And I mean, I'm like the older writer population, like all the little kids writing in Charleston and stuff like that. I don't. I think the only he's not a writer; he's a trainer. Is Stephen Gaskin. He lives, kind of north of me, but 6, 7, maybe 10 hours north. But the only other person I talk. Matter of fact, I'm going to send some babies up to him here shortly.
Wow.
So, yeah, but
Sounds like you guys are doing a
not
lot
on
of
a
stuff over
jockey
there, man.
level. Yeah, man. We have people. I was telling Sean this the other day. We have people in Louisiana. We have a Tampa Connect. We have a New York Connect, and we have a Woodbine Connect, and obviously Alberta is in Alberta. So I mean, we are expanding our footprint as far as acquiring. We can watch and we can acquire them from different spots. So we're not just limited to one jurisdiction. We can we're growing our footprint. So at some
Nice.
point it might be all over the country. So he's a local guy with international reach. I think that's how to summarize guy there. Yeah, we have a lot of reach. We made some good. We're we're quick on the draw. We get things done right away. When we see something, everything is in line. Boom, we're ready to go. And people that we deal with, they think we're a really good group. They love us, We, take care of business, Now everybody's paid, everybody's satisfied, and boom, boom, we're done. So we're creating like I don't want to say a legacy, but a good operational unit for other people if they want to follow. We have all the pieces in place for other through the pipeline. I mean, if you something out of Louisiana, we have Connect, like I said, Florida, New York, Woodbine. Yeah, so I think we're doing really good. We're absolutely using our
You know,
resources.
I'm glad to hear you say that because from time to time there's a few people who reach out to me and they say they love the what the show is bringing, what the show exposes. They like the fact because I mean these are people who've been involved in horse racing, and there's a lot of things that they don't know about, and they're very happy and excited to hear some of these suggestions, some of these stories, inspirations coming from guys like you, coming from all the other guys that came on the show before too as well. So I think it's important that persons like yourself even connect with some of the other guys just to form that kind of unity to build on what you guys are doing, and I think is great.
Yep. Yeah, I've reconnected with a lot of people here recently, and it's just like we hit the ground running again. It was just like, hey, and bam, we're hit running and we're doing good things. So I think it was really good. I mean, if everything failed, at least the connection of all friends and colleagues was really, really good for me. Like I said, I was in a in my home, doing my thing, and now I'm back. I guess I'm back.
And the thing about it is, Derek, is I lost contact with Darwin for about 10 years. Yeah, about
Wow.
10 years or
Well,
more.
I know why. He's a ghost.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but I think Ricky Brown is what who connected, got me back together with you, and then I lost the number again. And who is somebody else connecting me? I can't remember, but the thing about it is like we never miss, me or each other's company. We just boom, like we never missed being next to one another or hearing one another. So it's really good to have a friend like that who, you might
right.
miss them for 10 years, but
We
snap your finger on your back, like
right.
nothing ever
I mean,
happened.
yeah, the guy that did is Sophie. If you ever want to find
Right.
somebody,
Yes,
call
yes, yes.
Sophie up. He has everybody's number. Everybody.
Right.
That guy's the missing link right there. You just call him. He's
Yes,
like,
it was
boom, boom,
Sophie. It
boom.
was Sophie. It was Sophie. It was Sophie.
Yeah, I was thinking it got to be him, man.
Yeah, it was Sophie. It
But
was Sophie. But the time before that, it was
yeah, I mean,
Ricky
like,
Brown. Ricky Rat Brown.
yeah. So, my wife, yeah, I thinking, there was a lot of guys I used to hang out with in Barbados and stuff like that. A lot of good connections that I've lost, over the years. But some of the guys are still in racing. And I remember when the last race I ran in Barbados at the train I won, and I was telling those guys, look, when I get up to the U.S., I get settled, we'll get into horse, we'll do this, we'll do that. But you up in this thing called life. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to make a living, make a decent living, so you get caught up in life, and some of those connections I've lost. I've seen them. I mean, they're still back around the track, and some of them have a few horse stuff like that. But I was saying that to say this: when I was there, some of my friendships that I've rekindled here recently, people that I hang out with, and we never had a problem. We'll go out doing whatever, do partying or whatever. No one ever grumbled over the bill. We were always tight that way. Uh, when Sean and I lived together, I think I just put my rent on the table, and Sean would do all the booking. Oh, you need to stop partying so much. But I was a party guy, and I think that's what coming out west with my wife did for me. I had to grow up, stop drinking, had to stop partying, and I miss the guys, but I don't miss the person I become when I'm with the guys. You know what I mean? I am the party guy. I just want to party when I'm with my friends. And I think coming out west and up a lot has helped me. I think that was the best thing I did. I got away from just the absolute party side. And I remember one time Sean called me. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing now?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still in the installation business." And Sean's like, "Come work for me, man. I'm out here." And I was like, "No, Hall, man, I'm staying out there because I know if I went to Woodbine, I would turn into this absolute teenager and just trying to tear the place up. Especially if I can afford to actually do it. Like, I might crack, man. He might have to send out the cops to come get me.
One thing,
Yeah, but
one thing I remember,
I'm glad I
Darren,
came out here.
when we were roommates, I remember you used to be in your room, I used to be in my room, and we used to be talking. We used to be talking.
What happened?
There seems to be fighting out there. I always thought I had to go and break up a fight, but but we used to talk between the walls, and I remember you used to tell me about your plans when you go away, and one thing I can say, everything you talked about, you seem to have achieved. You know what I mean? Success wise.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing you always
I think
said you'd be successful, man. And that
right.
is
Yeah. I
I'm
think
great.
that was my that was my catalyst. When things get really hard, I go back and I tell myself, it's like, you say you're going to do this, you say you're going to do that, just do
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? And the driver for all the years is that you can do it. You can do it. Just work hard,
Mhm.
nose to the grindstone, just work, just work, just work. And now, I
And
mean, Sean, I got such an easy job. I don't even want to talk about it sometimes because it's so easy. You know what I mean? And the, I mean, I sit down for 8 hours and draw lines. That's what some kid told me. He was shadowing me at work one day, and he's like, all lines. I mean, more than that because after you put the proposal together, you do it. If you put the proposal together, you have to go out and negotiate the contracts, and sometimes people want to claw back 1 or 2%, and you would say yeah or nay. And there's a lot of wheeling and dealing. I mean, some myself to see. I worked for a company that we used to put on a Super party, and the budget was $2 million for a Super Bowl party. You
mhm.
go to Palm Spring for the weekend, and you're basically just taking them to this drink fest, and you'll hire some rock band as entertainment, and that's how you maintain your customer base. I mean, I used to have these customers that I would do all their work. They're like, "Yep, Darwin is doing my work. Wherever he's working, my work goes." Follow me from whatever shop I'm at, and you just make a lot of money with that type of base. And other companies, like my entertainment budget would be 2 or 3 grand a month is what I'm spending on my customers, and I just take them out, go golfing. We go to restaurants, we go wherever, football game, baseball game, whatever, and you just entertain your customers. That's what you do. And I mean, I think I would be in the office when I used to be in the office 4 days a week, doing my takeoffs, doing work, and then every Friday I go out and try to meet a new customer. The thing about my life that really changed is that I'm a pretty verse person. I can talk about anything, anywhere. I sometimes I can't believe myself the amount of subjects I can talk on and act the part. Like we were talking about that experience in Trinidad. But now I know you eat in. I can eat any place, anywhere, have etiquette, and like you were talking about those kids. The young kids, they need to learn that, Sean. They need to learn to conduct themselves in restaurant conditions, high pressure conditions, know when you should talk, when you shouldn't talk, stand when a lady is leaving the table. Those type of etiquette will get you to the next level in horse racing. You know, you might have the raw talent, but a high profile owner may not be able to invite you to his house because I'll be ghetto. You don't know how to act. You have to be a little bougie. You have to know how to conduct yourself. You don't show up to the guy's place without something, some flowers for his wife or dessert or something. I mean, just small things that will help you get to the next level. And I'm talking about, top class writer, great estate writer, stuff like that. I'm not talking about, you're just writing and dominating. Because owners like people that they have stuff in common with. Um, a owner switch his horses to another trainer because the other trainer played golf with him. You know, last summer I was golf like a madman. I golfed 2 or 3 days a week, but my golf game.
How
Go
how
ahead,
I
Eric.
how I because we talk about this quite a few times on the show already, Sean. And I'm just wondering to you, Darwin, how important that is because we keep hearing the same chime. And is it time that the younger writers and the people involved understand how that works together and how a guy can lose a mount or gain a mount? Uh, those kind of situations.
Right. I mean, because, okay, rule number one in business is friends do business with friends. Yes, you have to perform. Yes, your price have to be right. You got to still, if a guy is your friend, he'll prefer to do business with you. He knows you. Okay, we went golf. We went golfing last Friday. That's my guy. So if you have a problem within the racing industry and you're golfing with this owner, I mean, it's not a big problem. It won't be magnified like as if you weren't his friend. You know what I mean, or golf. But if you're in with him, you're his golf buddy. That will lessen the blow of losing a race or whatever. It's like Mike Rapoli and Todd Fletcher. He said he could never leave Todd Fletcher because Todd is part of. He seen his kids grow up and this and that, and his if we ever, leave Todd Fletcher's barn. So you need to forge relationships like that where an owner or trainer absolutely think you're part of the team, not because of your talents, but every other thing that you bring to the team, to the table. So I think that's really important etiquette. But I mean, hopefully at some point these boys would, youngers would, and that is important also. Not just my raw talent. I'm a good writer, but you're going to move to a different level with your talent. I think you're off the racetrack, experts and talents. They're handy too. I mean, it's anything that you can learn in life would propel you to a different level. I mean, you never know when it's going to come into play down the road. You, um, have to quit riding with me and go do something else. Then some of those golfs might come into play somewhere along the line, or whatever. Reading a good book or whatever. I mean, it all culminates at some point in your life to make you a better person. I think.
Well,
Well, I tell you something. That's one of the reasons why you hear me talk about all the time. The racing academy. Once the government starts that, that would that would clean up all of those things you just talked about with learning to eat properly, learning to speak in front of the camera and that kind of
Right.
stuff. I mean, all those are things that when guys leave Barbados, they should know how to speak in front of camera. They should know to eat properly, and so that you don't have to learn on the job when
Correct.
you reach up there. You know what I mean? Because most of the
Right.
time, when you win a stake race in
Hmm.
North America, the first thing they do is put a camera in your face. I mean, a camera and a microphone. And some
Right.
guys might have never ever experienced that, and they kind of freeze. But once you start
Right.
teaching our guys down here how to do that and get them accustomed to things like that, it would, you have a better, more well-rounded person
well,
leaving
I'll tell
Barbados.
you, I can tell you something
Right.
that from what I've seen so far is that jockeys don't get a lot of airtime to talk, but when they do, they're heard. And
Yes,
and for example, is good luck everybody, right? And that
yes,
took
yes,
off,
yes,
right?
yes.
And I mean like things like that. But I mean there are a few exceptions.
Silver.
But being able to do it and being able to capture the moment is very important, especially for the jocks, especially for the guys who get that opportunity, right? I mean Leroy Trotman said he was very thankful and happy when Reed Baker mentioned his name in the winner's circle, and that kind of put him on the radar as well, right? So I mean, these situations, when they appear, you got to be ready to take them because remember, I think I'm not sure, but I think in the industry like this,
I
we
do.
don't
Yeah.
want guys to be in the industry for so long and still can't progress. You know what I mean?
Correct. Correct. Well, I think you've talked for a long time.
What time is it?
All right.
Probably a record. Probably
Yeah.
probably a record.
Oh,
Probably spoke more than Leroy Troutman.
Yeah, Darwin Clarke has the official record now. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Hall and Headley, horse
think-
talk.
I think you were
talked our head off.
Taurus.
I like that, Sean.
All right. Well,
Talk our heads off.
I really appreciate the opportunity, guys.
From bottom of my
Thanks for
heart,
having me on. And
No, but that's why I brought you to the show. I know this is what we were going to get. You've always been a great guy from all those years till now. You know, Darwin's still the same person. I was glad to hear your honesty. A lot of people might not be too happy about it, but you know what I mean? I think it's your story. So
Nice.
you got to tell people what you went through.
yeah,
And other
they can
people
take that up with
will
me.
learn from that.
They can take that up with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
And if I hurt anyone or had a revision of, you can take it up with me. I mean, that's my story, and you know, nothing. That's how I receive it, and that's how it was put out there. And if they have a problem, they can take it up with me. I mean, I don't need anything from them, you know, so I don't have to mince my words or watch what I say. And the last thing I'm gonna do is lie on anyone about anything that happened to me. That's what happened, you know. So if they have a problem, passionately enough or did the right thing. I know I certainly did the right thing. I mean, I showed up and I did my job every day, and still do it. So, thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you
Sean,
so
you can
much
take my
for being
punishment.
on the show.
Well, everybody sees know why you hang with me.
Oh yeah. I always tell people, I said, Sean radical, man. But look, Sean, I have to tell you this, right? And people mess with you, you tell them how to get off and where to get off. When people mess with me, I do the calculations. Is this going to hurt me? Is this going to this? Is going to that? I am in the process of growing a pair like you, where I can tell people, you know, to go do whatever you need to do with your stuff, buddy. You know what I mean? I haven't got there yet, but I'm working on it. So maybe in another 10 years, I would tell them how to step off. But I'm not radical yet.
That's good to hear.
So, man, Darwin, I want to say, look, man, for me, thank you for coming on the show. I'm really happy I was really happy to hear your story. I mean, it's your truth. You're entitled to that. Nobody can take that away
Yes.
from you. And you're welcome to come back on the show anytime.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, there was so much that I didn't get to say. All the jockeys that I had, excuse me, had a part, and I would never say that I taught a jockey how to ride. You know what I mean? I was process.
Well, on that note, thank you again. And I think that he might be gone. I know he's a little bit delayed, Sean.
Yes.
So let's
Yes,
just
done.
do that. Yeah, I mean his connection was a little bit delayed, so
Yes.
I know it was a little bit interference, but you know we managed to get through all 4 of the hours.
Well, I told you this interview was going to be something special. I mean, could you I guess you were a little worried because you didn't see much about Darwin, but he's a Barbadian. He's been here. He knows how we do things here. He's back now, and he's coming back doing great things. I think the future is going to be very good to the syndicate of guys who are, you know, who joined force with Darwin, and I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I decided to, you know, because I just love what these guys are going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that there's actually a team out there who's willing to put not only the money but some effort into an industry that perhaps some people may view as a dying industry. But you know, it's good to see someone with so much passion and um, who's willing and also would love to be a decision maker in these enterprises, or you know, part of that club. Again, like you know, we've had these conversations, Sean, and I was always said, look, man, so what's so hard? Like, um, why can't people just, you know, be part of this club that runs the show and um, you know, have a say, or at least, you know, there's always a progression,
Hmm.
right? A room for improvement. People hire people with talent to improve their businesses, and stuff like that. I'm not saying this is not happening, by the way, because I'm pretty sure, you know, there's people out there who have thought about these kind of things and probably is doing.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I don't know, but I'm just saying. Uh, there's a lot of people who always have something to say about anything, any business or programs, and but for people who are uh, passionate and who are also bringing a product to it, I think there should be a compromise somewhere. And I think those people who are running those organizations should recognize that. And I go back again to when we had Steve Lim on the show, and even when we spoke with Roger Atfield, and you know, they always mention of the owners of the horses who bring so much product or
Yes,
horses
yes.
to the track, and the influence that they have, because you know, people know that, you know, they're bringing a good quality product to the business, and those things should be looked at and considered, right?
Let me do something. I don't know any successful trainer who don't have a lot of money behind them. You know what I mean? It doesn't, especially in those big racing areas, England, Canada, the States. If you don't have money behind you, you're wasting time and energy. You're just gonna be spinning in the mud all the time. You know what I mean? So big owners are very important. People with money that bring nice things to your racetrack or wherever part of in the industry you are. You need owners with money. And you know, right now these guys are doing that for Barbados, and Lord knows what, as he said, 3 years down the road when we start bringing some of these mirrors and stuff, it's going to be shifted from the imported horses to the Creole horses. You know, I mean, I know they're still going to be bringing in horses all the time, but a lot of these mares are older mares that more likely will go out together. Maybe 4 or 5 of them, and 3 years from now, you're looking at some specially bred Creoles here. That could be anything. So there's a lot to look forward to. A lot.
Well, that's beautiful to hear, and I wish uh, everyone involved all the best and all the success. Now, is there anything else you want to touch on before we end the show
But
tonight?
yes, one more thing I want to touch on is I'd like to wish Steve Singh all the best. He's having problems right now, and I sometimes it's done early on, but better late than never. I wish him all the best going forward. He's a former jockey, and like everything else in life now, everybody seems to have some kind of problem, man. And I really want to wish Steve all the best. Steve
Well,
Singh.
on that note, I want to say thanks to Darwin Clarke again for coming on the show, and to everyone who tuned in and watch all almost 4 hours of the show. Have a good night, and until next week, God bless, and you guys take care of yourselves.
All right, good night, everybody. Thank you.